Greetings, everyone. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror search for Huru on this Sunday. Damn, it's Sunday. Damn, and we're almost in June. Kyla, half the year is almost done already.
And see, Diane, as you turn 40, you'll understand something. The years will go by quicker. You're gonna wake up one day and whatnot, and you're 50. Trust me. The next 10 years are gonna blow right by. Trust me. As you get older, time it just seems like, damn, slow the fuck down, man. That's the way it is. When you're young, when you're up to 40, it feels like it's forever, eternity. You hit 40, man, just life just next thing you know, damn, I gotta apply for Medicare. Get Social Security.
Man, Kyla, it's almost June. Like we're halfway through the year already.
Yep. Year's almost gone,
Man,
man. High gas
but guys,
prices. What are the gas prices down there? We're at
man, Kyla,
$40.
listen. So so my car. I take the Supreme. Was it
Oh
93?
Lord, man, I feel
Yeah,
bad for
Kyla. It's not even Kyla. Like it's yeah. I mean,
you. But
yeah.
this is what people voted for, That's what people wanted.
No, Kyle, literally, there were people online saying they rather pay higher taxes and pay higher and they're okay with higher gas prices as long as we got rid of the orange man. And guess
Yeah,
what? You got to win.
you know something. Those are a minority, right? Those are the vocal minority who was able
But
to.
Kyle, they're the loudest. Kyle, they're the
Yeah,
loudest. They're
that's
the
the problem.
loudest.
That's the problem, and I'm gonna talk about that tonight. Loudest don't mean you're right. And get this, I'm gonna tell you. So I'm gonna give you guys a little trick, right? What's going on TikTok, right? Everyone's uncle's pulling out Black history on TikTok. They're not trying to educate you, right? They're not trying to inform you, right? They'll say Black people couldn't do this, Black people do that, right? That's why we got to fight for Black people, LGBTQ. They include everybody else in the discussion, right? they force their alliance. Isn't alliance in between two equals, right? That's what isn't that what alliance means, Dias? Alliance means two equals, right? The Anglo-Japan alliance between Great Britain and the Japanese, to protect Port Arthur in the Far East, the NATO alliance of equals, right? How can these white people, social justice work, get on a thing and talk about we're your allies when you're not equal? You're in positions of privilege and power, right? And then you're basically saying that you're going to advocate on our behalf, right? We're not equals. You can't ally with somebody that's not your equal. It's give and take. You get something, I get something. But you don't come and impose yourself on me and tell you I'm your ally when I. So the bottom line, the white social justice warrior is just practicing another form of white racism and white supremacy.
Hold on one second, Kyle. Let me get my speakers together. My main speaker just went out on me. Hold on, let me give me 1 second. But guys, make sure you hit that like button again. Please make sure you hit that like button. Also, make sure you share the content. Also, make sure you subscribe. Yes, we will be taking calls in about 30 minutes. So in about 30 minutes, what I'll do, I'll place the link in the chat room. Click on the link and you're more than welcome to go ahead and call in. Hold on, let me for some reason my main speaker went out on me. Hold on, let me
I hate you. I hate you.
Oh no, this my mic works. It's just the playback.
Okay.
That speaker for some reason had went out. But guys, hit that like button. Make sure you share. Make sure you subscribe. Also, make sure you go to dynastymir.com. Again, please go to dynastymir.com. Tour Nigeria. We are still rolling to Nigeria August 8th through the 17th for the Oshun Festival. Again, August 8th through the 17th for the Oshun Festival. So if you are interested in rolling to Nigeria with us, go to Danfo, DANFO.Africa. Again, Danfo, DANFO.Africa to learn more. Again, please visit Danfo, DANFO.Africa, everyone, if you are interested in joining us in Nigeria. Again, as you come to the channel, hit that share button. Also, please hit subscribe. Ivory Garner, you say you're CB alumni. Are you referring to Christian Brothers, my high school alma mater in South Sacramento off of MLK? Is that what you're referring to, Ivory? When you say you're CB alumni, that's what's up. And with that being said, Ivory, if you're CB alumni, how did you find out about the page? How did you find out about the channel? I am class of 2000. Man, Kyle, it's been 22 years since I graduated.
Yeah, long time, man. Yeah. You're born in '82. You're graduate class of 2000.
Yeah.
I know your generation very well, man. Very well. You know, because that's when I started feeling like an old head. I used to have a lot of millennials, right?
Somebody said I need to adjust my camera.
Yeah,
Colin, am I clear or no?
Fuzzy. You're a little fuzzy. You're not.
All right, hold on.
You know.
Hold on 1 second. Let me give me a second. I think it's because I'm uploading a video at the same time. Hold on 1 second. Let me go ahead and stop this real quick, guys. Give me a second. Sorry about that. For some reason, I can't do.
Yeah,
I just gotta get
much resolution in it. You know, it looks fuzzy.
Yeah. I don't think it's the actual camera. It's the let me just cancel this upload real quick. So what I noticed, I can't like I just got to get another laptop. That's what I got to do. Okay, so I can't. I stopped that. That's done. Is it a little bit better yet or no?
Oh, it's pixelating. It's like trying to.
Okay, hold on. Let me come back out and come back in. But go ahead, Colin. Go ahead and start it up. Go ahead and get it started.
Yeah, man. So tonight's show, today, this afternoon show, is about this shooting that happened in Buffalo, New York. Okay, a mass shooting. Now, some people may be shocked. I'm not at all. I'm not shocked at all. Right? People always say that we, the next generation, is going to be a change. Now, I bet you any amount of money, that boy, that 18 years old, 18 years ago, he was probably in a television commercial sitting down with some black kids, Hispanic kids, and they said, this is the future right here. See these kids playing on the playground? They're getting along. Look, black people, you know, in case you haven't, I'm going to give you a little bit of advice. This is never going to end. There's going to be more shootings like this. And then look, you guys, black people, I know this. Like, I think I just when I think I'm having a women argument, you guys are gonna pivot right back to the same old freaking nonsense. You don't want to talk about the crime in our community, the crime that's produced, that's manufactured by record labels, movie industry, and stuff like that. The degradation of our culture. You pivot to police brutality, okay? You pivot to black hair. That's a little better, Dennis. That's a little better. Maybe because in the background, Dinus, you're in your sunroom, right?
Right. No, I'm in my I'm in my sunroom, right?
Yeah, you're in your sunroom. Yeah, that's what it is, you know. So I was saying just a minute ago, I said, look, black people are gonna. This is how sick black people are. Just like when Dylan Roof did what he did, right? Automatically, I seen last night. Let the apologies and the excuses begin. They try to pivot to, we have to do something about violence. Not white on black violence, not racist violence and everything. There's too much violence. So that's the new theme now. Let's play there's too much violence and everything. Why? Because people don't want to deal with the friggin' real issue, which is the real tension between black people, African Americans, and Anglo-Saxon whites in this country. The Anglo-Saxon race has been waging a war against us for 400 years, right? It's not the Jews, not the Italians, it's not anybody else. It's the Anglo-English race from northwestern Europe, right? Who settled in America, the American. The American is the lowest thing on the friggin' planet. The white America is the lowest thing on the planet. And what they do is they get other white people to forget who they are, forget their culture, forget you're from Italy, forget all the things that your family taught you about, and you just join this camp called white supremacy, white America. Okay, your race is your uniform, your skin color is your uniform, and that's why a lot of black people and a lot of black immigrants don't seem to get it. You know, it doesn't, all that stuff like that, what you call your culture and all the stuff like that you hang on to, it does not matter.
Hey, Colin, real quick, how's the picture? Because on my end, I look clear as day.
Yeah, you look good now. You look clear now.
Okay, I think what the problem is, if I'm like uploading
Yeah.
another video while we're streaming, it just it messes up the I guess the bandwidth or whatever goes
Right,
towards
right,
that and
right.
it takes away from here. So
We're
guys,
still,
press one, guys in the chat room, press one if I'm clear. Because on my end, I look clear. I
yeah, you
just
look
you
good,
guys
man.
say I'm
You
good.
look good.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Yeah. So my whole thing is this though. So
Oh, one second. Hey guys, I'm gonna put the link in the chat room here in about 25 minutes. So
go
again,
ahead.
25 minutes. I'm gonna put the link in the chat room. All right, go ahead,
Yeah.
Tyler.
All right, now getting on to this ADOS FBA stuff, right? Lately, there's been some people running around YouTube or not. They're running around and they talk about how horrible Nigerians are in America, right? They talk about, look at this Nigerian woman. I mean, I know Nigerians a little eclectic. They're really out there. They're very boisterous and confident and stuff like that. And some people would say, you know, something they're doing a minstrel show, whatever. Well, look at our culture in hip hop. Well, now what is that? That's a minstrel show. So a couple of Nigerians do a couple of bad things and everything. You're ready to take these people and deport them, you know, or out of the country, you know. But don't say nothing about NBA YoungBoy. Don't say anything about Young Thug. Don't say anything about all the killings that's going on in Black America, all the death, destruction every day in Black America. So it's like I said, I feel angry, rage with this white killer. But every day in my area, Hampton Roads, someone's getting shot and killed. Women last week, 3 Black women killed, you know, in a shooting, domestic related or whatever. Guy got shot. You saw the video with a guy in New Jersey got shot in a gas station, get in his car. I don't know if it was a hit, like a professional hit. The guy came out with these guys are shooting.
Oh, in
What
front of his
that?
right. I think he was with his girlfriend, right? Or I saw something
No,
wild,
no.
man.
This guy was walking into his car, and the two people got a backseat of the car. 2 clowns got out and shot him with AK-47s. You know, they're not even shooting with handguns anymore.
Well, you
So you
saw
got
the video. You saw the video here in Atlanta where the security guard got shot in the back of the head.
yeah,
But
the guy just walked up to the back of the security guard and 50-something years old and just put a bullet back of his head to rob him. Didn't think nothing about it, just cold look, yeah. And you know, from what I'm hearing, this guy was linked to several other killings like that in the area. The bottom is dropped out on Black America, right? You got Black people killing each other and tearing community. People have said, once a murder happens in a community, right, and people feel unsafe, that's it. It's over. People are starting saying, "Look, I'm saving my pennies. I'm getting the hell out of here." And the gentrification is happening because Black people don't want to live around most of you Negroes anymore. They're going the hell out. They're saying, "Look, I'll take my chance in the white suburbs." And then when you go into the white suburbs, right, you got these crazy white supremacists walking around. In all this scenario, I don't see how African and Black immigrants are a problem. I don't see it. I see the same old problem in America is between the white people in America that basically did everything they can. Let me give you a little background, right? This is what America does, right? America goes around the world, right, spreading propaganda against African Americans. While they're telling you to be loyal to this country, right? They went to Japan, showed them, oh, you don't want to, these Black soldiers, they're animals. It's like that. They went to Vietnam, they're monkeys, whatever, you know? They went to every part of the world. The only country in the world that rejected that was Russia, okay? The only country in the world that didn't take America's side against the Black man in America was Russia, you know? And to some extent, France. And to this day, what's his name? I forgot his name. Sung the Paul Robeson sung the Volga Boatman and stuff like that. And those Russian Black people don't know there's an African American community in Russia. You know that went there during the early 1900s. You know, and settled there and built farms. Showed the Russians our agricultural techniques. You know, how to grow corn and stuff like that. You know, people don't know that history. And so, therefore, there's this thing in Black America where other people have tried to reach out to us and say, look, man, come over here. You know, show us what you got. You know, we were in the modern world. You know, so Black America's knowledge and know-how was in demand around the world. On one hand, America tells us, oh, you're American. Stay here. Stay here. Don't do anything. And then on the other hand, they spread the propaganda about Black people, that these people are the worst. They're horrible. They're criminals. They're lazy and everything. And you look at the Black people from that time period. This is unforgivable. The Black people, when you saw Black people in Harlem or not, when you went to Harlem, when everybody went to Harlem, you were going uptown. White folks was like, yeah, we got to get fancy. We're going to uptown. Who was uptown? That's where the fancy Black folks lived, you know? You have to have etiquette. You have to do. You can't just be no slouch. I got to wear my best suit. I'm going uptown tonight. You know, but that's been erased from history. They make it seem like, oh, black people are just sitting in the ghetto doing nothing, everything. Our enemies are relentless. Now they got a hold to our music industry. They could basically took over our music industry, which was pure, beautiful, and everything like that, right? Right. You look at like I played on my show, Gangstars, Memory of, tribute to Kevin Samuels, and I said like this: our community music, our culture.
Rest in peace to Gangstar. Gangstar passed away, right?
Yeah, he passed away a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
That song "In Memory Of" was his best song he ever did. You know, "In Memory Of," you know, and I played that for Kevin Samuels on my show the other day, right? So they took that culture that we had. All we had was our culture. You know, we were brothers of camaraderie, right? And we didn't see each other as enemies, right? You see that brother over there. Sometimes we play the dozens. We diss each other back and forth, right? We might even give into a scuff. But nobody was sitting. There wasn't a culture of I gotta send the ops on you. I gotta kill you. You know what I'm saying? I got look. See that Soldier Boy talk about. Yo, he said some of one of my Lamborghinis. Yo, man, I gotta take that nigga out, man. Well, yo, with that young Dolph or some stupid shit, you know. This is so-called FBA ADOS people, you know. But you don't say nothing about that. The fact that the so-called people who claim FBA ADOS don't say anything about the degradation of our community shows you that they don't really care about the culture. They don't care about the African Americans. They just hate black immigrants. So they want to come into the black community, right? And form this fake ass movement called ADOS FBA, right? Which has legitimate talking points. You know, I get that. You know, but anybody will tell you, I used to check Nigerians all the time. I check Liberians all the time. I check all the time. I say, oh, don't misrepresent my people. We're African Americans. That's my culture. That's my nation. That's who I claim. You know. Same time, these people take the legitimate talking points of the African American nation and basically weaponize that and to turn it into a black hate cult. Now, what gets me is this: while you're talking all this nonsense about Nigerians and Caribbeans, and you create this fake movement called reparations, which is never going to happen. Let me give you to an end game here. You're never going to see a reparations check. You know, you might as well go ahead and look into one as and get that job, right, and make it a go. You will never, ever in a million years, get a reparations check. It will never happen. You know, I want my reparations, right? And they'll sit back and they'll have whole group chats when I talk about reparations. They got it all. They be arguing back and forth. Well, I want to spend it on myself.
Hey, Kyle, can we? I want to set the record straight real quick in the chat room, and I want a so-called FBA person to call in. I keep seeing this FBA is not ADOS.
It's one and the same, you know. Now they're running for cover because Tariq has made such a buffoon out of himself on these stupid. I mean, Tariq. All right, I get it. You know, it's hilarious. It's funny. It's hilarious. He's a roaster, whatever like that. I maybe the entertainment. We could all, as black people, like Tariq's like a Sambo. Tariq is Sambo. You know, that's what he is. He's Sambo. He's not a coon. He's Sambo. Right? Sambo is there for shucking and jiving, entertainment, roasting, and everything. He's humorous, sometimes threatening. You know, he's the black buffoon. You know, always got something to say. Oh yeah, you know, like Satchmo. Yeah, oh yeah. You know, Bojangle. You know, Tariq comes in that tradition of roasting and joking and clowning, the Paul Mooney types. You know, so yeah, we could all sit back and have a laugh at Tariq and laugh with Tariq and everything like that. Yeah, but when it comes down to serious business, and this is another thing I'm getting tired of. People think because you have a certain amount of YouTube subscribers, right, that means that you're in charge. You know, oh look at me. People get intimidated by the YouTube channel. It used to be people get intimidated by the guns you drive, the guns you got. You know what I'm saying? The fact that you can fight or you can whatever, play ball, whatever. Right? Now, motherfuckers walk around intimidate you by how many subscribers, right? You see that 200K subscribers, like, oh yes, Mr. Tariq, yeah, Tariq is right. People, the YouTube and all these people know what the fuck they're doing. They know you ain't got no power, no nothing. So they give you a little bit of power. They give you a little bit of thing. They know you're not going to do the right thing with these channels. They know you're not going to do, we got platforms, we got everything like that. They know for the fact of the matter is a nigga is going to be a nigga, you know? If you're a nigga with no money and no influence, you're gonna be a worse nigga with money and influence. You know, you're gonna go out there and do nigga shit, and that's what they know. That's why they know your platforms, all this stuff is no threat to them, because they give you the platforms. What do? You're at this guy. This guy's fighting this guy. This guy's trying to undermine this guy. This guy trying to report this guy's thing. This guy's watching how many super chats this guy get. You know, this guy's worried about pocket watching this guy and everything. All these guys, the white man sitting back making money off all this shit and sitting back like, yo, our kids are in Cancun, they're in Veracruz, they're in Mallorca, Spain. They're traveling the world while we got these dumb niggas on the internet, right, going back and forth on that brilliant algorithm and everything like that. We don't even benefit from the fucking destruction that we call that we're participating in. All this nonsense, the criminality and the rap culture and everything like that you see is basically being monetized. You know, it's not for free. People put this stuff out there. It's not for free. They're going to make lots of money about it. But the people who's making the real money off this stuff, they're sitting back somewhere in Switzerland. They're flying the world. They got their kids. They might have their kids. Oh, look, you know, the little blonde head Becky little girl. Oh, I got all your albums and whatnot. You know, this is our monkey. NBA young boy. This is our monkey, Young Thug, and when here he is, you know, he's on our record label. You know, we're paying him, and they'll have the little white girls out there, and then they'll be out there chilling with the white girls and everything like that. It's a freaking all-out minstrel show. Black America and black culture is nothing to be proud of right now in 2022. But you want to sit here and talk about what the freaking black immigrants are doing. They're not after your goddamn reparations check. They're coming here to get the bag, you know. They're coming for our universities, you know. They're coming for all this stuff because we failed. You know, we failed as people in America. And I said all the time, I said the end game of black African Americans, right? The African could come here and be Americans and be fine Americans because they don't have the slave history, right? Why should they come here and take on our burdens when we don't even want to do the goddamn right thing? Now, we were doing the right thing in black America, had our shit together, marrying and building relationships, building families and everything like that. Then we could say we have something to protect. But what do you got to protect? You know, what do you have to protect? You don't even value the goddamn black family. You don't even want to value black communities, black institutions and everything. You don't want to value that. So now you want to talk about what they're taking from you. What you don't we let our neighborhoods go to shit. Go down that shit. You know, we let the worst element in. We let anything goes. You got women going on. Did you see that thing, Dynast, when girls were going that thing? That thing that for that reality show?
No, I didn't see it. Hold on. Do we need to? You sent me the link,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, I sent you a link.
Hey, where'd you send it? Where'd you send it?
I sent to your text message.
Text or WhatsApp?
So you want me to send it to WhatsApp?
Send it. In fact, do me a favor, Kyle. Email it to me, so because we're gonna watch it right now. So go ahead and email it to me.
Yeah. This is black women in America. This is your queen.
Yeah, go ahead and email it to me so we can watch it together.
Okay, let's see. We're gonna watch this video. Let me see. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and send it to me. Email it to me. Guys, make sure you hit the like button again. Please hit the like button. And we're going to open up the lines here in about 10 minutes. Again, we're going to open up the lines here in 10 minutes. But send me the link. Email me the video so we can go ahead and play it.
Okay, here it goes.
All right, let me check the email real quick. Hold on one second.
Should be sent.
Okay, I'm checking right now. Checking the email right now.
Yeah. But you want to talk about black immigrants, right? You want to talk about how this, because I'm going to talk about one particular sister of ours, right, out of the DMV area, who's running around on a rampage against African immigrants. You know, now she has some good points, but what I'm getting is, I mean, so what if somebody called you a cop, man? I mean, come on, man. You know, I've been called worse. You know, you stupid akata. And then when I say stuff like this, Kyle, I know you are Nigerian, man. You like, no, I'm 100% African American. Whatever the ADOS dumbass shit you guys come up with.
Well, that's it. I'm banning all eyelashes of any kind.
Hold on. Let me
share screen.
Oh, this is okay. So this is on Pink Book Collections. Okay, hold on one second. Let me
This is TikTok. It's only like 2 minutes.
yeah. Hold on. Let me share the screen real quick. Guys, again, hit the like button again. Please hit the like button. Let me share the screen real quick. We're gonna watch this real quick. Hold on. Okay, here we go.
Can you make it bigger?
Immediately. See how they compete for attention over a camera? The one in the bottom corner sitting up there cutting the other one off. It's funny how they can compete for attention and for cameras, but they'll tell you they're not competing for a man.
Nothing. So when you hear ask about pink period, they check in with me when y'all come through the door.
OMG. Just look at those beautiful Magic City tattoos.
Period. They check in with me when y'all come through the door.
OMG. Just look at those beautiful Magic City tattoos. I tell you this all the time. All of them have them. That's why they get upset with me when I talk about it. I'm sorry, this is embarrassing. This is what you have, a bunch of black women standing in line, participating in some type of baddie competition. So many fake eyelashes, fake fingernails, black and mild looking lips, and teeth that's just trying to hold on. This is horrible. Why are they even doing this anyway?
Big Lulu, big VA, big everything, yeah. Big VA.
That's the queen, huh? That's somebody in the sisterhood I'm supposed to be locking arms with, talking about how her thought pocket is good. She's advertising her street walking services. We have to have a clear separation between us and them. The problem is too many of you identify with them.
Big thanks to this motherfucker. Everybody know me. I'm signed under Fat Joe's course. And y'all know I'm big in this. Thanks, Red. Check me on YouTube. We live. We on the big legs. You see me in season 2. And I wish a big would get corrected. Don't.
Just wait a minute. Black women, we have an image problem. And as a group, this is the way that we're being presented in the world because so many black women act and look like this. It's just out of order. And please don't tell me it's just ratchets that do this because you see college students and college graduates walking around Atlanta looking the same way. That's why a lot of places, they have to have dress codes these days for women who don't know how to dress.
Yeah, Kyla, that's yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, the bottom line, this is what we see every day, you know? And so you can't get on line talking all this is what we see all day. We see women embracing this whore culture, use men, whatever like that. You have no intention of settling down with giving yourself to a man, you know? If you got looks on you and whatnot, you're on Instagram trying to see how you can monetize your looks and everything. This is what you see right here in Black America. But the whole thing is this, but you think that the African immigrant is your problem. I don't see African girls doing this. You know, I don't see Liberian girls, Nigerian girls doing it. They come over here and they hold themselves up to a different standard. And what gets sad part about it is that black African American girls, right, in America, this is how lost Black America is. We don't know right from wrong. There's a lot of black women like, well, I'm not like that, right? But you feel some sort of sisterhood with those freaking females that are damaging your image. Why aren't you coming out like this? I'm not like this because black women are so hardwired. Well, we need them because our ultimate goal is our enemy is a black man. Now they're like this is Jack Harlow guy, right? They're saying black men. I didn't know who the hell Jack Harlow is. He puts black women in his shirt. Don't you understand, you stupid black women? Just because you got a Jack Harlow, now you got this kid that killed 18 of you, 11 of you in Buffalo. They're always looking for the white savior to come and rescue them from the black man. Are we that bad in America? You know, you don't want to listen to men like Kyle Genesis, Dynasty, and everything. Oh, we're lame to you and everything. You'll follow the Pookies, the Ray Rays, and everybody off the goddamn cliff and everything. And then you'll follow the white guy, and that don't work and everything. And then you say, oh, I'm just done with everybody. Call it second generation has met second generation. Has Colin met second generation Nigerian? Well,
he has a point, Colin. He has a point. He has a point.
Well, I know the ones that was raised here. You know, the ones that were raised here act like that. You know, and they only act like that because they fitting into a pattern of culture that we set, you know. And like I said, it's like, well, whatever. They actually believe that the street life and all stuff like is sustainable. It's not. It's not sustainable. And so therefore, what I'm trying to say tonight is this. So this idea of a so-called ADOS, FBA, and being concerned about the rise of immigrants and whatnot, I don't see how. Now let's talk about this shooting, Dinah. You got the news clip? This thing, Buffalo, New York, yesterday. You know, I just looked up on my news feed when at least 11 people killed in Buffalo, New York. White supremacists had a white manifesto, was doing it on Snapchat, probably made threats before, you know, saying he was going to do this. You don't just come out and do this. Now, basically, is this just like, remember the shooting that happened in Texas, Austin, Texas, a couple years ago in 2019, when a guy went in, reloaded and stuff like that and shot? Whatever happened to that case? Huh? You remember the one that the Austin shooter shot like 13 people in the Walmart?
Yeah, no, that wasn't Walmart. That wasn't Austin. That was it was in Texas.
It was Texas.
It was like 23 killed 23 people.
23 people killed, right? Whatever happened with this case? You know, whatever happened with this case? You know, it just disappeared. And we just so distracted. Also, no, I know what happened. COVID-19 happened, you know, and everything. We just forgot about everything. So this was going to happen in this case right here. They're going to study this kid for the next 5 years and everything. Reverend Chicken Wings will come out and pray for him and whatnot, you know.
It was El Paso. El Paso.
Yeah. He found Jesus and all the stuff like that, you know. The Negro media is going to be toward black people. This is what it is, Dinus, right? Listen to this very carefully before we bring the next one. Black people just want anything to go away so they can get back. They're going to say, this is what you're going to hear. Oh, this is a false flag. This is fake. Yo, this is fake. This didn't really happen, you know. This is what black people say. This is just a distraction. What the distraction in Negro in America is we got to get back to partying and getting money and everything. So this is just a distraction, you know. Remember that, you know. Every time something happens and everything, the Charleston shooting in South Carolina, they said that's just a distraction. That didn't really happen. That didn't really happen. Why? Because it interrupts your worldview that everything's all right. And you can just party to your booty, your stinking ass falls off and everything. And we shouldn't worry about nothing but your next high or your next getting drunk, your party, everything. This is why I said Black American, African American culture is a waste of freaking time. You know, it's not worth preserving. It's not worth anything. We got to do anything. Anything. I wish our African brothers would come over here, show us what they're doing, and show us what they're doing, how they're keeping their families together, how they got marriage, how they can build anything, how they can live on 1% of what African Americans have right now and be happy. You know, that's the whole thing. So when they come over,
guys, one second, guys, hit the like button again. Please hit the like button. And then we got a caller, Dustin Cole. Go ahead, Dustin, with your question. Let me meet yourself.
Hey, Dinas.
Hey, how you doing? Dustin, we can't hear you. It's real choppy.
Oh, can you hear me now?
No. It's choppy.
Can you hear me?
Dude, man, what kind of phone system you got, man?
Yeah. Dustin, call back in. Dustin, do me a favor. Call back in.
Can you hear me now?
No. Call back in. The connection.
Okay.
Lord have mercy.
All right, Kasha Doodoo, go ahead.
Lord. Oh, Lord. Kasha Doodoo.
Kasha, go ahead and meet yourself.
Not Kasha.
I guess for you. All right, go ahead, caller.
Yeah, so we don't ask for much, folks. Have a good phone connection when you call. You know, be in your house. Where you know, don't be out there away from your house. You know, the internet connection goes as far as, you know, when you walk down the street. I'm gonna walk down the street to the store. But in the meantime, I'm gonna call Diane Samir show. Okay, and you don't have no data, and you got internet connection. Oh Lord, here comes two Niger. Here we are. They're all coming.
Go ahead, two Niger.
Come on, man. So what is there to the guy? Oh Lord. See, one of the things I disagree with the Kala on is that African American culture doesn't deserve preserving. I think that the issue is just about them realizing where their power lies. And I agree with your approach. You know, in the tactics that by Dynas and yourself are using. You know, you go to the continent, you gain connections there. You possibly even enrich yourself. You know, Dynas is doing some stuff. That is the kind of tactics that helps most other communities do better. And you know, you say, okay, yes, Africans stay together, but one thing people are not observing is what is happening now. Africans are trying to copy some of the things that are happening in the African American community now. So your voices are also needed on the continent. Both sides need to work together.
But you're not. They're copying the dysfunctional stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Nobody gives a damn about me, Dynas, everybody else that's showing the positive side. Anybody doing fuck shit. What is it about Black African American fuck shit that everybody loves so much? You know?
Okay, see, there are negative things in all our community. There are negative stuff. I think that there are areas that need, you know, sorting out a bit, but there are a lot of good areas. You know, the resiliency is very important, and I think that some of the way African Americans perceive the world is also a good one, because you guys have your eyes, you understand where the problem is more than the continentals that are just basically asleep at the moment. So from that point, I would say, okay, both sides have something to offer. Because what I saw yesterday is what when I have some conversation with African Americans, they're like, it's okay, it's not that bad. I tell them, you don't know what is coming. Because there's what is happening in America now, that demographic shift that is happening in America now. I've never seen it happen anytime in history peacefully. If anybody knows of any situation,
I agree with that. I agree 100% with that. The Black people sitting in America Party. Oh, Roland Martin doing his jig dance, talking about the 2043. We got ready. That's when people of color are going to be the majority. Woo! You know, dude, you are talking of the white people. You think white people are just going to hand over what their ancestors built, bled for, and believed in? Too late. Look what they handed over Chicago to you. Look what you did with it, right? They handed over Philadelphia to you. Look what you did with it, right? They handed it over to New York. New York is a shithole. Everything they handed, they're saying, look, if Black people take over, this is what, even though we know that's intelligent, but we're not, the intelligent Black people are not looked at. We're not the majority. White people did not invest in the Black intelligentsia in America. They invested in their puppets and their yes men. They should have they should have saw somebody like Malcolm X and say, yo, look, yes. But the whole thing is the whole thing about American culture is America has believed that any sort of Black man that's strong needs to be destroyed. That's why they get rid of Medgar Evers, Marcus Garvey, everything like that, you know? And now what we're left with weak Black men leading Black people for generations. Weak Black men and beta males and simps and everything leading Black men, fuckboys leading Black America for generations. And we're to the point where we can't fight back. We can't provide for our women's, right? We can't like this. We make up the majority of people in the auto workers industry. We have nothing. We gained nothing. I think one Black man got a factory, which he was making seats for Ford Focus. You know.
I think what troubles me most is sometimes when you hear some African Americans, when you tell them that, you know, you have to be aware of this because this has not happened peacefully anywhere in the world in history before. You can't expect this transition to just happen peacefully and you're not planning for it. And I believe that if African Americans and most of the diaspora and the continentals, especially the continentals, they are the real, this is linchpin there. If the continent does well, African Americans will be fine no matter what happens in America. But if that doesn't happen,
yeah, I agree with that.
That is going to be problematic, serious problems, because you are going to be caught between the continentals of the American continent and these Europeans that want to retain control as much as possible. They are literally talking about breaking the country up,
and also
just to maintain that power.
To Niger.
Hey, we got another caller too, but go ahead, caller, then we pass to the free game podcast. Go ahead, caller.
Philip, I can hear you 1 second. I say this. The problem is that also we don't want to talk about this too. Is this? You also got an entrenched African elite in Africa, right? Who've been benefiting all the spoils of colonialism and bad trade deals, bad policy, and everything. Their kids go to the best college. They're going to perpetuate this. They don't see the vision of Africa being free. They see the vision of Africa being free for them, right? And they keep the status quo. They keep the people, and there's no grand plan for. Show me the 100-year plan in Africa. There is none. You know, the African free trade zone's a joke. You know, there's no 100-year plan for Africa. Everybody's out for themselves. They're out for the original OAU, which was formed in Liberia and San Iquele and everything like that. And then Ethiopia and Casablanca and everything. That OAU is dead. Right now, the African Union is nothing but a branch office of the European Union, right? Held by African dictators and corrupt people, right? We'll take all your best minds off the continent, bring them to Europe, let them study and everything like that. Spend 30 years doing nothing here, right? We'll suck the resources out, right? We'll monetize everything, and the status quo. We'll create a black middle class that you could brag to African Americans that y'all made it. Y'all could show the nice houses like in Banana Island, like in Nigeria, but you get mad at somebody like Morgan Myers who wants to show the whole continent, like Diane Samir wants to show you rural parts. Oh no, yes, there's people poor in Africa. We want to see that. There's people rich in Africa. We want to see it. There's middle class people. We want to see the whole thing. Don't package me this idea, stuff like that. If you really want Africa to be like that, then you come out of Europe, come out of America. Let's all get together and let's do that. But you don't want to do that. You want to be superficial.
All right, free game podcast. Go ahead. Unmute yourself. Free game podcast.
All right. I put people sleep.
Philip, go ahead, Philip Lindsay. Unmute yourself.
Hey guys, I just wanted to tap in for a second. Dynast, thanks for having me on, brother. You know I love your show, man.
I appreciate it, bro. Thank you.
You know, and Kala, I always love to hear you stir it up, brother. I appreciate you guys. And to Nigel, man, you always are tapping in and giving us the continental perspective, and I appreciate that. So I'm not going to take too long, but it's just ironic, Dynast. I've been arguing with one of my buddies, a black attorney, about what's going on. And so when you came up with the topic, I had to tap in. And look, man, it's real kind of simple. You know, Dynast, you're leading the way here. The stuff that you're doing in Sierra Leone and helping people, you know, do the African ancestry and get their citizenship, and, you know, the helping people get their property, brother. Look, it's a very simple process how you have power in this country. You need your home countries, when they do trade deals with the United States, to leverage their resources in those deals for their people. So on a quick one shot, the Asian hate bill. Why did that bill go through Congress so fast? Well, because at the time, the United States was negotiating with Taiwan over trade. And Taiwan said, check it out. We can't have our people coming over there and getting jacked up or whatever, and you guys want to do trade with us. So either you put this bill through or we're done here. What happened? Went through Congress faster than you could put a hot knife through butter. So what does that have to do with us? What it has to do with us is this. Look, we have some small, undercapitalized black businesses without supply chains. Like if you, me, Kala open up a grocery store, we got to go to the Mzungus for supply chain, for shipping, for all of the different things we put in our store. It's not us doing that. It's them. So they can control price. They can control how much capital you have. You're probably not owning the building where your store is, right?
Logistics.
Exactly. So how do you solve that? Well, you solve it by what you and Kala are talking about, which is we have to sit down with people like Tunisia and the larger continentals and say, look, we got an issue between the two of us. We need infrastructure, we need financing, and we need a market between us to support us.
We need Black African infrastructure. That's why I created the organization, Black African Infrastructure. Join our social network, get connected. Also, Mr. Lindsay, remember I think you and I are around the same age.
Yeah.
The Japanese Reparations Act of 1980.
Exactly. Look, it was on a civil rights bill.
Yes. Right? But the United States was negotiating something in Japan about the troops because it was the height of the Cold War and everything.
Absolutely.
The Japanese government said, look, if you want to continue troops and everything like that, you got to compensate the people that's on our back about paying them back. Now, they didn't get reparations, because if they would have got reparations, they would own half the state of California. That's how much they lost, right?
Well,
But they got like $25,000 a piece.
Hey guys, I'm actually
and
reading
that was
this
on a
manifesto.
civil rights
Go ahead.
bill. It's supposed to be for black people. That was a kicker.
No.
Wow.
Carla, this is exactly what I'm talking about. They did get a payment. They did get a payment,
yeah.
and through Reagan. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
is exactly that. So, hey, Dynast, we've talked about this, right, brother? You know, we've talked about.
I'm sitting here reading some of this manifesto that this kid.
I'm sorry, man. You know.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, Philip, go ahead.
You know, this is exactly what we're talking about. So, you know, I don't have all the answers, but I do know this, Kyla, what you're talking about, that we're all talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
And what I was trying to say to one of my buddies, he's a good lawyer, good black lawyer out of Chicago, which is originally where I'm from. I'm in LA now.
Right.
He donated to, what's the guy's name? To Tariq's museum, right?
Okay. So, Philip, I got to ask a question.
Yes, sir.
Your buddy who donated to Tariq's museum.
Yeah.
I'm not hating. I'm just trying to figure out the mindset of our people. Like, why? Like, what do I need to do differently? You know, like, what do some of, you know, people like Kala, me, you know, and other, I would say, I'm not,
because I am dead serious about building stuff. That's why I don't take.
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out. Like you said, he's a lawyer.
Just giving them money to somebody.
He's a lawyer.
Like, you tell me why? Like, what sparks him to donate to a museum when there's already plenty of black museums out there? And if you, but Philip, but this is the thing. You're familiar with LA, right? I mean, you live in LA.
Brother. Yeah.
Okay. Did you really think that museum was going to be built on Crenshaw right there, knowing what's going on with Crenshaw, knowing? I mean,
well, look, Brandon and I have talked about this. We chopped it up a little bit on his show about it. Okay, let me answer your first question and come back to your second question about Crenshaw. Here's what my opinion is as to why people donated, and I've heard you ask this question. And here's what I would say, just generally, but it has to do with why I think people gave him money.
And the reason why I say that, I know what I'm doing in Africa as far as the computer lab. I know it's in Africa, but the structure is almost done. Like I show videos, pictures, like the structure's done. I put my own money up.
No, dude,
I could barely get people to donate, like dude, barely. But I'm just like, Tariq. You know, maybe if I just do like a 3D graph, this is what I'm building, and don't build anything, it might get done. But like I said, I put my own money up. We broke ground. We got the structure of the building is almost finished. I show updates, pictures. This is what we need. I could barely get people to donate. So I'm just trying to figure out, not to hate. I'm not hating at all.
Nobody
what do I need to do differently? What do I need to do differently? That's all I'm asking. In fact, Roderick, go ahead and call in. Roderick, he said, so Dynast, you hating. Roger, go ahead and call in. Links
Roger gonna call in. Roger can't go call in.
I want Roger to call in. I want Roger to call in. Go ahead and call in, because I would just like to know, you know, what I can do differently to motivate people to donate towards, because I don't ask for much. I barely ask for, what I'm saying is I don't ask for people. If I'm asking for something, it's like, okay, here's a tangible, here's, you know, a product or service. Now, when I say, hey, donate towards the computer lab, which is, again, it's you can see it, touch, feel it, see it, go visit it, bam, bam, bam. I'll put my own money up, say, hey guys, can you contribute? I could barely get people to contribute, but see all these other people, they're getting hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars. I'm like, what can I do differently? That's all I'm asking. I'm not hating. I'm just asking, what can I do differently?
Okay, let me just give a quick answer to you on that. All right, I would argue nothing, but here is why. I think that you need to talk about something which you're assuming, but that is actually at the core of our problem. When someone sees a hospital or a school or a construction project in Africa, and they are in the United States and they're diaspora like we are, they don't see themselves. They see Africans. And the problem is that somehow, well, I mean, we know how, our diaspora doesn't see themselves as Black Africans the same as Africans on the continent. So when you're helping Africans in a school in Africa, then they say, oh, that's great for those Africans. They don't say that's great for us. And so if anything, to change it is to continue to discuss, we are them, they are us. Get your DNA test done and you will see you're from Sierra Leone, you're from Nigeria, you're from, you know, Togo, Senegal, whatever. And then there are 100 people in Togo that look just like you. You just haven't met them yet. So if you can make that connection and continue to do what you're doing, which is actually showing finished results, which you're one of the best at that. You actually finish tours. You actually show proof of people getting their passports and citizenship. You're doing it. It's just that the people you're talking to don't see themselves in the Africans yet. And so that is how Hidden History Museum, they see themselves in that. And the other thing is, and this is just my opinion, I don't know, but I think that Tariq received the money because people had a view that he's a doer and he completes his projects well.
No, he didn't create a Trust app, and there was a Haiti project. A lot of stuff he walked away from.
Well, yeah.
I created an app for my website one night. Why couldn't he create one, you know?
I'm just saying that they knew about the hidden color stuff and people love those, right? So then they gave this money to him on credit of, hey, you did great with hidden colors. So if you try to do a museum based on that, then it'll probably be great. Now, one thing is separate from another. It's a lot different to make a movie or a set of documentaries than it is to build a museum. It's night and day. But I think what that was a reflection of the goodwill that he received from those films. But I think that you should not compare yourself to what he's doing, because the problem is the audience. The audience has not come to the full acceptance that they are Nigerian. They are Sierra Leonean. They are.
Hold on, one second. Roderick Hayes, what did I say that was a lie? Roderick, call in, Roderick. My question is, I'm not hating, but what did I say that was a lie in regards to the museum? That's what I'm saying.
Tariq, look, yo, you said the truth. Tariq created money on a false pretense. You said a letter of purchase. He collected funds before he even had a letter of intent to purchase, whatever like that. So he created on a false pretense. Let me get the money, then I'm gonna go to them. You just ass backwards, you know.
Well, can I interject for a second there?
Yeah.
Kala, that land, the NEMA group that owns the land, I think it was something in the order of $10 million to $14 million to even buy it, not even talking about the construction. And so
exhibit. What are you gonna do with $1 million, $2 million? What about exhibits and everything? He wasn't building no museum, man. It was a joke.
I don't know what he was planning to do, but $2 million was way short of what you needed to try to even buy the land. So maybe he was planning to do multiple rounds of fundraising, maybe. But that goes back to the larger point that I was making, which is, look, I've known a few people that have fundraised to build things. And what you don't do is you don't go out and start insulting immigrants, Africans.
Oh, that was
when you're trying to raise money. That's just not.
It's a problem, right? This was the problem. Let me say this. Let me interject.
Yeah.
All respect, all due respect. Brandon put so much heat on that guy, right? He put so much heat. Because I was even getting to Brandon. Let's stop talking about Tariq. Brandon kept at it. It's something friggin' changed, right? Because you notice something, right? Notice one thing, right? See, Tariq has a thing where if you don't have a certain amount of subscribers, like I said earlier in the show, everybody don't subscribe. If you ain't at this one, they don't take you seriously. If you don't have more than 10,000 subscribers, he won't take you to. He won't mention you. He'll let it keep flying. So when O'Shea looked like he was saying something about Tariq, fire and brimstone came down on O'Shea's head. Now Brandon was saying all this stuff, 20 different videos about Tariq. Not one thing. O'Shea says something to the fact that he was comparing. Well, Tariq did this, and he said, and Tariq, he basically O'Shea said something, and Tariq said, "O'Shea, nigga, don't even go there." Basically, he's gonna go into his old, I can roast you, you old black. I mean, Tariq is not even on O'Shea's level, to be honest with you, as far as talent and stuff like that. His channel, O'Shea does graphics, he does visuals, everything. He's really professional in what he does. He does that and everything. You look at Tariq's channel, he's just him sitting in his friggin' basement, But somehow Tariq was managed to intimidate O'Shea. But at the same time, he said it on Brandon. So the heat was on Tariq, right? And what did he do? When he was about to fold, he comes out with a thing. Do black people benefit from immigration? And then the whole thing about the museum went away. Everybody was talking. He had Nigerians fighting against African Americans, Somali, everything. He had these big group chats and everything. They're talking back and forth. Everybody's going crazy talking about this. And we're like, whoa. What about the museum? And he kept piling on to this thing. So as soon as you basically talk about the museum, he pivots. He pivots like an NFL running back, and he basically runs to something else. You corner him on this or not, he'll come to something else. He pivots.
I think when Dynas asked what he can do differently, Philip said that until the African Americans see themselves in what is happening, they will not necessarily resonate fully with it. See, I think part of it is that they don't see Dynas making money from it and using it for them too. And that's something that needs to be part of the plan. If you are making a plan, it shouldn't just be like, we're going to save Africa. It's not different from what we have been seeing before. You want to have a plan
so to Nigel, and then we're going to go back on topic. How are African Americans going to make money off the museum?
They are not, but I'm talking about, because for at least they can relate to it on the ground in the US. But when it's in Africa, you are creating a workstation and where people go and use computer, but you are not making money from it. It has to be a win-win for both sides. I believe that's how it works. This is not a charity business where you just help only one side. You have to do it. You have to have a plan that helps African Americans too and strengthens both sides. Because in the end, that's what it needs to be. It's not only all about strengthening the African continent. That is the whole point of helping Africa, so that it helps the African American community. But it needs to be more immediate before you can take people in. And I believe that maybe African Americans should be having more conversations about this to see how they can get involved on the continent. Because like I've said it before, there's a lot of projects on the continent that they can make a lot of money from, billions of dollars that African countries are giving projects to foreign companies. There's no reason why African Americans cannot capitalize.
Here's the thing, to Niger. Here's the thing. This is what we're talking about, the BAL, right? We talk about African Americans, right? You understand something, that African Americans are U.S. citizens, we're U.S. nationals, right? We chose not to remain as a minority group, right? With certain rights and protections. But it could have been like, look, Garvey movement wasn't that far off from the civil rights movement, We could have said it was America's job to make sure that we're connected with our ancestral homeland. That could have put African Americans in the bidding for oil contracts in Nigeria, diamonds, everything. America does not respect our Africanness. There's no U.S. policy that favors African American. Now we have the America-Africa Institute, right? Professor Davis taught as a part of, right? But the thing is that organization facilitates American interests in Africa.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And so therefore we don't have any organization, like I'm trying to build one or BAL myself, I just need lawyers and everybody else to make it happen, right? One organization that basically says African Americans have a legitimate interest on the African continent. And now it can't be on the federal level. I do believe, like I said, no system is invincible. I found a loophole. It's a sister city projects throughout America. The sister city where states and counties could basically do
Kyle,
their own
I want to interject real quick. So I'm reading this manifesto. There's an echo on somebody. Carlos, if you could mute yourself real quick. All right, so this white guy that just killed 10 black people, this is what he said. Do you personally hate blacks? A black man or woman living in their homelands? No. A black man or woman choosing to invade our lands, live on our soil, live on government support, and attack and replace our people? Yes, I dislike them. So my question to the ADOS and FBA,
There you go.
There you go.
I think you need to read that last part.
There you go.
Wait, can I throw something real quick on that? Because I got to get out of here too, Dynast. And I've talked about this with Brandon on his show. We have to accept something, which is Mzungu Americans do not view our citizenship the same as their citizenship. And legally,
Philip, I just want to read this last part. Philip, I'm so sorry, but we gotta hold on. Philip, I'm so sorry, Philip.
Do it, brother.
Do you believe those you attacked were innocent? There is no non-white living on white lands that is innocent. I mean, guys, exactly. It's clear. Like, black immigrants the problem?
No, they view us the same as the immigrants. We are foreigners in the United States.
That's what I'm saying. So this foundational Black America is a farce.
It's not a farce in our mind, but it's a farce in our laws and in our the way that the institutions relate to us. Yes, we are citizens legally, but our citizenship is not the same citizenship as theirs. So when you have people like this, what they're saying is an obvious truth, which is I see them as foreigners. They're not Americans, they're Africans. And the issue that we have is, as much as we want to be Africans, we need the reach back from Africa to stand with us at our back.
Right.
And so that's what.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, man. Are you a conservative?
Attorney Philip, Lindsay, check this out. The problem is Africans, right? When they basically, there is no coordinated African long-term plan. Africans just want to get the bag and look big. You look at Africa, I've been studying this really. They fly overseas to go to Belgium for some stupid conference where they get a free meal. They come back and they sign some deal, whatever like that. And it's all about trying to get aid. And I know two guys are going to come in here and try to elaborate. But the bottom line is this. It's a joke.
Well, yeah.
The original OAU Pan-Africans of Kwame Nkrumah is dead. You know?
Well, I wouldn't say it's dead because we're still talking about it.
We're talking about that. We have to arrest the power from these agents of white supremacy, not just white supremacy, but Black mediocrity. In other words, basically, I was telling someone the other day, I said, look, all the billionaires that are in the world, right? The Chinese are producing billionaires of billionaires. Why? Because they control their own infrastructure, you know? Malaysia, billionaires. Russia has, I didn't know Russia had so many billionaires, you know? And stuff like that, all over the world. Africa got a few here and there. But the thing is, though, most of the companies that govern the world, that everything we view, even the media platforms, everything, are controlled by people who don't look like us.
Well, I mean, that's the core of the problem. Let me just, because it reminded me of Dynast to solve your problem, and it also is related to what college just said, okay? Here's what I would suggest with the school thing, is if the school officials or whoever is the controlling officials over there, if they're willing to put a camera once the school is built, those rooms or whatever, and to periodically, I worked with a company years and years ago, which what they were doing was broadcasting the lessons that they had so like in this case, in the school in Africa, with say a library group of Black kids here in the United States, so that there can be an inter-exchange. It doesn't cost very much to set up a camera in there. And they have one class, maybe once a week, that is both American Blacks and continental Blacks. So when you, this is to Nigel's point, when you donate the money, you also get something back, which is you can actually talk to and have education with these same African kids. So that's maybe, and I don't know how much that camera would cost, but maybe that's a solution so that both the African kids get something and the Black American kids get something. And also it works on this concept of we're one people. We're not,
Yeah, that is correct. I'm sorry, let me just interject a bit.
Yeah.
You see, Kala said something about how America goes out and tries to enforce its own foreign policy. The truth is...
One second, too, Nigel, before you go on. Carlos Red, go ahead and unmute yourself. Carlos Red.
Oh, yeah.
Yourself. Go ahead, Carlos. Unmute yourself.
Okay. All right. Yeah, what I wanted to say was I'm tired of this ADOS/FBA creating this division between us and African people and creating this false history, brainwashing a new generation with this crap. I'm tired of it. How much of this indoctrination you think is being aimed at our young people today? Is most young people believing this garbage now or what?
Well, I'll tell you this.
Native Americans and not.
Let me say this. My baby cousin that died in January in a car crash, right? That her father, my Uncle Junior, right? He played with Nas's band. He's from Bermuda, right? He played in Nas's band. He knew Nas, probably knows Nas. And he's a musician and everything like that. We worked for the city, gave them a good life in Long Island. They live in Hempstead, Long Island, and everything like that. He told me that the last month before, he said that was his oldest daughter, Aisha, was his oldest daughter. Beautiful, his oldest daughter. And he was saying, man, the Bible says, he's on the church now. He said, Bible says, respect, honor thy mother, thy father, one night. He said she kept calling him a West Indian, and she kept calling him, oh yeah, I'm foundational Black. I mean, this stuff is poison, and it's tearing families apart. My family's African American, 100%, but we have family that married Haitians, married Africans, married other people, other races, and everything. When people come together, and Black America has always been that culture. It's like a jambalaya. It's like a Creole. Professor Attorney Lindsay knows what I'm talking about. Black America is naturally a Creole, a mixture. You know what I'm saying? You bring yours, I bring mine, and we're all Black folks. That's the way we've always been.
And that can be a positive on some of the ethnic stuff. But Carla, you're right about that. Tunija, Dynast. Look, I appreciate you guys' time. I got to duck out of here. But I think, Dynast, keep doing what you're doing. Maybe consider trying to do the camera with the fundraising so that you can have some communication between both sides. And I don't think it costs that much to do that.
Dynast has to start demanding that stuff. Like me, look, how many super chat? Look, I need some O'Shea super chat. Oh, we all right, O'Shea. Some of y'all getting that super chat.
Right.
Pull out, stop being cheap. Y'all give Tariq and everybody money, man. Hit that super chat button, man.
It's a beautiful thing. Listen, take care, guys. Thank you for your time, Dynast. Thank you for your time, Khaled, Tunija, Carlos, and Kenny. I wish you guys the best.
All right,
thank you. Can I say something, please? Hello,
guys.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kenny. Go ahead, Kenny.
All right. First things first, I want to say this. What I realize about we Black people as a people. We are people that live life with feelings, not logic. We live life with feelings, not logic. That's why we are so messed up everywhere we are. Come to Africa is the same thing. I'm Nigerian. Everything about us is all about feelings, not reality. If somebody if you have a brother that went out and killed somebody and you know this guy is a criminal, then the police come knocking at your door, what you're going to say is he didn't do nothing. There's a culture that I watched on Netflix about African Americans. It says snitching. Snitching is not a thing, but if you see something wrong, you're supposed to call the cops because that person that you're hiding from is going to kill your brother next. But most times we as Black people, we don't want to face reality. We always want to shy away from reality. And talking about African Americans,
that's why communities are disappearing. But Black people would say, "Okay, we have a no snitch culture. Guess what? I'm moving away."
That's what I'm telling you.
They walk away. They just walk away from the whole community. If that's what what you see is the bottom out. The Black degenerate culture has been on for the last 30 years. The bottom has dropped out. All the Black people that could be building Black America, Black communities are gone, right? And what you're left with is just a riffraff and everything like that. Now it's like, how do we contain those people because they're affecting the rest of us, you know? And
Right.
Sorry to cut you short though. Do you know we Africans, before we found our footing, something like Afrobeat, before we found something like that, we used to look up to you guys, you African Americans, you are our big brothers. We used to look up to you guys so
don't
much
do that.
until we discovered that.
Don't do that. Let's stick with Afrobeats, man. Let's get rid of this culture, and I hope
please stick with Afrobeats.
Yeah.
Please.
Please.
Like, you don't listen, nothing I say, man.
Please.
Keep this garbage culture off the mother continent. You know, when I was over there, I did not hear this garbage culture. I all I heard was Afrobeats. I said, this place is heaven. You know. The bottom line. Let me be frank with some of you Negroes, right? They say, Colin, you want a nation in Africa? Yes. You want to escape from the white man? No, but I want to escape mostly from some of you Negroes. You know.
Thank you.
Negroes, I'm trying to get a Negro escape plan out of here, you know? You Negroes are toxic. You're killing us, you know, every day, you know? And now you got the white man killing us and whatnot. And I should be worried about somebody from Uganda, you know? I should be worried about some Nigerian calling me a Akata. I'm like, shit, give me $1 million. Let me go to Nigeria. You can call me a Akata every day. You know?
Hey, let me read this part too. Guys, this is from the guy, the Shooter's Manifesto. Blacks are the most privileged race in the U.S. and many Western countries, but yet they say they are the most oppressed. What other race is giving trillions of dollars of white taxpayer money to succeed, but yet fails and asks for more? What other race actively destroys their communities like they do?
This is an indictment.
It's the truth. It's the truth. It is the truth, but it's the truth. But most of us, we're gonna use our feelings to sugarcoat it, but this is the truth. The earlier we tell ourselves the truth, the better for us all. Even the continent of Africa is the same thing. We're using feelings over logic. That is why we are so messed up as a people. The white man, once you do something wrong, they make a law, you go to jail for this, and that's it. But we as black people, we want to sugarcoat it, try to bend it this way, try to turn it this way, try to go over it. We are not a problem-solving people. Then when you don't solve problems and you skate over it, you think it's going to leave? It's not going to leave. It's going to stay there. The next person is going to come meet the same thing over there. So we are all stuck in the same circle, going over and over, round and round and round and round. Even talking about the term Akata. How do you think the term Akata came up? When black people, for me, I live abroad. I never believed racism exists when I was living in Nigeria. When I came abroad for the first time, I saw somebody looking at me strange. I was shocked. What's this? They say because you are black. I was like, what? The term Akata came about. It was like we Africans were trying to fight back against what the African Americans were doing to us. Somebody would call you African booty scratcher. Come on, man. The term African booty scratcher. How did that come up? It wasn't with a white man. It was an African American. So most African people that came there.
In all fairness, the term booty scratcher was basically like African Americans clowning each other. You know, I don't think we meant that for you guys. If any African American ever called you that, man, it's like he'll be condemned in Black America.
Can Trina say something, please? I think Trina looks a bit cross right now. Maybe we should let her
Go ahead, Trina. Go ahead, Trina. Go ahead.
Well, they used that word to
I'm so sorry, guys. I'm sorry, guys.
Go ahead, Trina. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. I personally think the Black community in America, we need the power of the pen. We need to start getting laws passed in our favors to stop these hate crimes against us. We need to stop.
But Trina, let me interject. I'm so sorry. And this is the issue I have with the so-called black voter. You want to know what the agenda for the black voter is right now? Number one, women having a right to do what they want to do with their body, aka women having a right to kill babies. That's what that is. Let's just be real.
Number two, get as many kids across the border.
No. Number two, if little Joey has a penis, but he thinks he's a woman, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Number three, voting rights. I don't know anybody during these last elections who were black who went to a poll and were turned around. Like, I don't know anyone. But for some reason, this is just a huge, this voter suppression, so-called, is allegedly, they're making this a huge issue. But I don't know anyone. Kyla, do you know anyone?
No. And the whole thing is now that they found several incidences in Detroit. Now it's coming out because suddenly now Twitter is taking over like that. This is like I said. This idea of suppressing the information from this last legend is real. Any sort of talk about, well, this didn't sound right in Georgia with the voting machines and stuff like that in Philadelphia. There were many people that wanted to report what they saw, but it was suppressed.
Hey, Kyla, Muchi T just made a great point in the chat room. Trina, I'm so sorry, Trina. Go ahead and continue. I'm so sorry. I just had to get out. Go ahead, Trina. Take your time. Go ahead, go ahead.
It's time for, like, I just think it's the power of the pen. We're gonna have to get laws in our favor because we're powerless. We're still getting shot by the police. That man, that fool up in Buffalo shooting the black people at the grocery. We're online gender warring. Why are we gender warring? What is there to talk about? We're too busy on this YouTube and we're not getting off our behind. I mean, I'm including myself to go out there and do the real fighting, which is get the power, which is to own and control so we can compete. I'm gonna tell you this. Let me explain something. The reason why they got the immigrants in this country because the immigrants are producers. Black Americans are not producers.
Thank you. Finally, somebody said it.
Well. Here's the thing. Now, there's a lot of black people in America come to Virginia. A lot of black Americans are producers. The problem is black America is not organized. We have rugged individualism, right? Yeah. Immigrants are more visible in what they do and stuff like that. Black America, when you go out there, it's like, tell you, I'm in a professional world, right? I'm in a professional world, right? I had lunch with several top executives with Anthem the other day, and my FMO upline, right? And the one guy that's heading the Anthem operation is a black guy, brother, man. You know. Now we're sitting there. Let me tell you. Let me be frank with you, right? My brother was there. And we had a bunch of white people there. A couple of my white colleagues, like that. I know this one brother. He wanted to embrace us and dap us up, like, bruh. You know what I'm saying? But we had to be cordial, you know. Yeah, he was there like that. Yeah, we had to play because the white folks are looking at that, you know. That's the reality of being black in America. There's plenty of black people in corporate America that do amazing things. But the bottom line is this: they cannot be black, you know? They cannot be black. Immigrants are advantaged because they have ties to their home country. Black African Americans are not that. We became the ultimate Americans. We're like the ultimate, because even white people will be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to Italy this summer. I'm going to Mallorca. I'm going to Greece. My ancestors were Greece. We're not. The African American is not allowed to have any sort of communion with each other. We're not free. We're not free yet. So they quickly. I
want to tie it to what you said earlier on about how America has its foreign policy. This is
hold on. I want Trina. Are you done? Trina,
this is very important. Okay. Go ahead.
I mean, Trina, you anything else you want to say, sister?
And also I want to say this. I know I might piss some of you brothers off, but I'm just gonna say this anyway. Now, rest in peace to Kevin Samuels. Okay, may that brother rest.
Here it comes.
But what are black men doing to get since he's gone? Are we gonna get another black man to replace him so we can keep the gender war going off on women?
Oh, I believe in gender war.
Black women to held accountable for their actions. Are brothers going to try to get laws in favor like I said, laws in favor so the police can stop shooting you, so you can get access to capital to start businesses, so you can start competing in the market.
Sister, here's the thing. This is a simple problem right here. What the problem is this, right? We got one incident like that. We are killing each other. Why don't we get these guns out of our community? That's the first thing. That's the first thing. Every time you look around, black people are celebrating death, destruction. You can't talk about you want to live in a civilized society. What you're asking for is civilization. Yes. We want laws to protect us. We want jobs, we want credit and everything. Nobody's going to give you a loan if they think you're going to be dead the next week. Oh, this thing got shot in a drive-by shooting. The bank's out of its money. You know? Nobody's going to give you a mortgage when not on a house and everything. If you don't have a family, he has no family and everything. They know you're going to, he's partying. It's a matter of time before he gets arrested, party with that, then he's going to go into foreclosure. I've seen it, you know? Now, if the man was building families like we were before, right? They knew that black men, my father, my grandfather, they were honorable men. They were hardworking men. When they went to sign that thing, The white man, the beneficial Jewish financial group, beneficial. You know, they were the ones who gave black people a lot of these loans in New York City back in the day. Beneficial, you know. It wasn't beneficial, but we got mortgages. We own homes. They knew that the black people that we're dealing with back then, right, was a sure bet. You know, they knew the black America that we had back in the 60s up into the 70s was a sure bet. Somehow the Generation X and everything, we bought into this party culture, and we was a victim of ours. Black America was successful, but other people, when they're successful, what they do? We got to put this money away for an investment. We got to invest in this. We got to do this. We were foolish. We got into drugs. We got into guns. We got into partying. Now we got a whole generation came up above it. That's all they know is party. We say, well, what do you believe in? Well, man, I got to get party with it. So in other words, you're not even real.
Yeah.
At one time, you would sit down and say, well, what's on your mind? What's on your mind? Why do you think I think people are clamoring to this Kendrick Lamar something? Because people want to hear something, some substance. If everything, I thought that one day P. Diddy, you know, people would grow up, right? And would grow up. I'm wrong. These guys are going to be doing the same shit in their 60s and 70s, you know, out there with the same freaking foolishness, because that's what sells. That's what all they know. That's what the white man pays them to be. And the bottom line, until we reject these people, right, and start looking at people and start looking at with ourselves and say, this is who we are and this is what we want to build, then it's never going to change. So you can't say, so therefore, once you know who you are, let me say this. Once you know who you are and we know who we are, we're together, then the political establishment, the political process will come to you, you know, and say, okay, we see this, we're with it. But you can't go to the political process and we're all chaos or everything's all over the place and everything like that. We're individualistic because why? The collective failed.
I want to hold you to your word.
You know, like that, you know, there's no collective black. Everybody's cool and everything like that until it comes to money.
Kenny King, wait. Let me just add that point. I've been trying to make this point. Carly said that Americans have a foreign policy that favors this in America. The truth is they have a pan-European foreign policy, which is specifically pan-Anglo-Saxon foreign policy, because it's interesting that you actually use the term Anglo-Saxon earlier on, because that is what it is. If you look at NATO as it is, it's a pan-Anglo-Saxon entity. And the thing is, African Americans, like you said, they are not organized. They don't have a pan-African foreign policy or outlook on life, because that is where your strength comes from. That is where it comes from. If they had that, by now you will see billionaires emerging from the African American community, enriched by the continent, and you will influence the rules so that American foreign policy is not going to be tilted to the pan-Anglo-Saxon foreign policy.
Every day.
That needs to change, and I think the African American community, they need to be having meetings among themselves.
Hold on. Let me
discuss
say
these things.
Something to Niger. Check this out. Let me say this to Niger. That is a conundrum we found ourselves in, right? We say we want to be American, right? But yet it will. We go over and fight the Japanese bomb. What did the Japanese ever do to us, right? We're fighting the Japanese, you know. We're fighting the Vietnamese. We're fighting all that. So what we have is a black nation, right? With a white mind in America.
Oh man, you took the words right out of my mouth.
With a white mind, and the bottom line is black. And in the future, America, if Africa rises, America is going to be in a conflict with Africa. And I used to think, oh, we're going to come to Africa today. Now with this ADOS FBA, I'm not so sure about that. You know,
that needs to change. They have to understand that they are pursuing a pan-European policy. That they are basically pursuing a pan-European policy. They don't even know it, because they think America is an entity standing on its own. It's a lie. They are actually pursuing a European policy. There's a reason why almost all European countries are doing okay and almost all African countries are doing badly. They are not pursuing an American agenda. There is a reason why they are very angry right now. They are talking about the great replacement. They are talking about breaking the country up. They don't care about America. They care about their people. And we should also remember that it's not about America, it's about the people. The people are the ones that make up the country. And if you have black community not thinking about themselves first, then you're going to see this situation whereby you have ADOS and people that think that they are white. And I think there's a serious conversation that needs to be had in the African American community about this.
The African Americans have...
Kenny, one second. I got to ask a question. Kala, we just had a mass shooting yesterday. 10 black people killed.
Yeah.
Kevin Samuels passed away the weekend before that. black people, it seems like black people are more outraged at Kevin Samuels than they are.
Of course, but black people won't mention this guy there. They're still celebrating, popping bottles on Kevin Samuels' death. They won't care. They don't black. These people are sick. They don't care nothing about black people. You know, they resent the fact that they're black in the first place, right? They're in their mind they're white, right? And so, but when they go out in public and people recognize them as black, first thing they get offended. Well, I ain't black. Well, I ain't black. Well, I'm not part of them nigger culture, whatever with that. So therefore, when you identify, Trina knows what I'm talking about. When you identify black, they walk around their mind thinking they're white and whatnot. Remember Precious? Remember Precious? I'm light skin. That's real, man. I'm pretty. Remember that? A lot of black women, sisters, walk around thinking they're white. And then when they call out on, yo, nigga, who you call nigga? I ain't your brother. Or you call worse than that, you walk up to them and call him brother. Oh man, they ready to fight. How we brother? Are we related? No, well, you know how it is. No, I don't know how it is. But we call you. This is a freaking mentality, sick mentality we're dealing with right now. Now we want to turn all this hate on our African brothers and sisters who are doing nothing. What an African guy, average African in America is taking 20 years to go to college. He's out there driving Uber, mopping floors, doing all stuff like that. Ain't doing nothing, doing shit you don't want to do, And they're out there doing that. We're not saving their money. We're not getting their money, sending that money back to Africa and everything like that. And so then when they do get the bag, right, after they do get that degree, when they get that degree, Africa get that degree and whatnot, and they're celebrating and whatnot, you sit there hating. You know not know about the degree. But the degree. But the thing is, African Americans, we live in a industrialized world. We don't need the degree to make money. We don't need a degree to make money, But I love my African brothers. Keep getting that degree.
No, Africans have issues with that degree nonsense. It's a serious one.
Also, this is the last thing I need to say. There is a candidate out of South Carolina named Marcel Dixon. I don't know if you heard about him, but he's trying to make changes. He's trying to get reparations for black people, and he's trying to get rid of that Jim Clyburn, that fool. He's trying to get rid of that fool because that fool got the
but the whole thing is this is what I feel about him, right? Even though we did a show on this, right? This guy pivoted towards the anti-African, and he started with the ADOS. As soon as and then I think he's pro LGBTQ. I think he is when that Marcel, whatever like that. These guys want love and etc. Maybe might have to start making overture to our gay brothers and sisters to keep them quiet and shut the hell up, whatever. But the bottom line is this. He basically came out against the African and the Caribbean immigrants, right? Because they're taking. Come on, when you start going down that road, the FBA ADOS, you just cancel everything. And
can I say something, please?
You want some reparation? That reparation is not going to happen. You want reparation? You know what the best reparations? Start looking in the mirror and loving who the hell you are. That's all the reparations you ever need. When you get that, you said, "Damn, I love myself, man. I feel like I got $1 million in the bank." You can be broke as 2 left week eating cornbread. Cornflakes, right? But you feel good, right? Because you love yourself, But when you don't love yourself, you walk around angry. You're lashing out at everybody. You're involved in gender wars, You're beefing with Black American men. You're beefing with African American women. You're beefing with Nigerians. You're just all around, just And that's what it is.
Can I say something, please?
Yeah.
Do you know the most educated immigrants in the US? They are Nigerians. 62% of Nigerians are educated people in the US.
Okay.
Most of these people came to
but the thing, hold on. Let me say it. People like I saw Nigeria. I give you credit, educated, but the thing is, though, they say educate immigrants. The Indians make on an average, as far as immigrants, make 100 something like that. Nigerians actually lower in income than Ghanaians. It's actually Ghanaians. Nigerians online putting out this Nigerians immigrants like that. And also the Nigerians when they're educated, they're much older than the average African American who's educated. And African Americans. Let me tell you, there's 2 different cultures. In America, you could be a garbage man and make $120,000 a year. You're not gonna make that in Nigeria.
No. Of course.
You got to have a degree to make money in Nigeria. Here, we've always been African Americans have always been the working class, middle class people and everything. We send our kids to college, everything like that. The college debt, like that. College debt. You got college people who are graduating with degrees. I'm all for higher education, but here's the thing: a degree is nothing if you don't apply it. If you have all Chinese people building your roads, your infrastructure, everything, your degree means nothing. If all the money you spent in degrees and everything, and you have Indians and everybody else controlling your logistics and everything, and Nigeria can't produce its own fishing industry, right? It has to buy its fish from Thailand. It has to import. Nigeria just started growing its own rice, and all this backward stuff that President Abacha was trying to get rid of, So the bottom line, we got to get rid of this. I got to get. Okay, because all that smacks in the face of you're trying to provoke African American, and it only does is play into this ADOS people's hands. Please stop it.
I think that degree thing. It comes. Sorry, let me just say. I think that degree thing is coming from them feeling like, oh, you need degree to be able to show that you are actually intelligent. And in reality, it doesn't matter really. If you are individually intelligent and as a group you are unintelligent, that group dynamics is the one that will manifest itself. It has been proven over and over again. In terms of as a group, our IQ, as a group, our IQ is extremely low. There's a reason why Nigerians can't even figure out how to get electricity, because we tend to individualize everything when we should be looking to work together. And I think that is where the jig that is missing. On the continent, you talk about African Americans having some issues. On the continent, they have a big one, where we sit on our countries and run our countries as if we are a caretaker country where we are waiting to be recolonized. Our countries are not strong at all. Militarily, they are not strong. All of them, without any exception. So we have to start doing
let me add something before Jason, let me say something before Duna Africa say. Let me say this, right? There's a corporation called the Pung Lloyd Group, right? That operates all throughout the Asia and the Middle East, that build all the infrastructure. They rival any sort of infrastructure logistic organization in the world. The Pung Lloyd Group, right? They built Singapore, Malaysia, all Southeast Asia, railways, subway systems, everything, stadiums, everything, right? Now, what gets me is about the Pung Lloyd Group. I think it probably started with a European corporation around like that, but it was all Asians, right? They have this operations in this country, logistics in this country. All working together on a global scale, right? And so therefore, all the money that's built for stadiums and everything, that's where they build everything comes from raw materials built into finished products, stadiums, high beams, highways, everything like that is employed by Asians, Singaporeans, Malaysians, Thai, all these Vietnamese, all these things. That's the result of the Bandung Conference of 1955. Now we look at Nigeria, right? And as big as Nigeria is, right? They should have its own logistics. Because why? Because of something like the Point Lloyd takes actual government policy and protocol and discipline, right? And intelligence, and to actually do that thing. Africa has not done that. Africa, between Nigeria, Cameroon, and Ghana, right? The three strongest countries in that West Africa region, right? They should have had some corporation with young engineers and scientists and everything are working together to build the infrastructure of Africa. That doesn't happen. Because why? Because nobody cares. All everybody cares about is going to America and bragging about that.
Don't get me started. That never gets old in Nigeria.
So therefore, Chinese, Lebanese, everything. Who builds the roads in Africa? What's that? Lebanese. And you know who the money they get it from? The African Development Bank. Because Africans are qualified.
Okala,
come on, Kenny.
You're right. No, Kala,
your advice about what we're doing. You gotta take your stuff back and build something. And then when you build something, you win the argument that African Americans will come to you by the millions to the continent. Right? You guys, right along.
Okay, all right. Do that, Africa. Go ahead.
I wanted to touch on what Niger was saying. He was making a very good point. Then Mr. Kala kind of took it from my mouth, what I just wanted to say. I've studied in America, studied at University of Maryland, Clark School of Engineering. And yes, I'm in back home now, but a couple of things. You see, two separate studies from, I think, Princeton and one by Johns Hopkins and also with this book written by Eugene Robinson, Disintegration, the Splintering of the Black Population in America. You see, African Americans as a group themselves are already splintered because he was talking about the affluent, the Obamas, the Will Smiths and Denzels. When they get to a certain point, they kind of have that deviation. It's like a tree, you have the branches, you know, so they deviate. Then you have the middle class, and then you have the forgotten, who nobody really cares about those African Americans. They're trying to get ahead, but everything, government policies against them, whether it's policing and stuff like that, they have that. Then you have the diaspora, Africans, the Caribbeans, or blacks coming from different parts of the world. Now, this whole issue about the degrees and stuff like that, Mr. Carter talked about, is very important because Africans really have this false sense of, oh, I have a degree. People, when they have a PhD back home, it looks like they're expert. I said, no, a PhD is just a narrow focus in an area. A PhD is no better than you having a degree in history, because history is history, and you can't know the history of the whole world. So the thing is, what do you do? Have you done any kind of research? Or you have a PhD in agronomy? What do you produce? Even the plantains that you eat, most of the research was done by University of Maryland for a tropical food. So the thing is, until you start getting into the farm and start doing things, your degree has no real meaning to you. But African immigrants outpace Asians in America by 5 points academically, and whites by 7 points. But why is Africa still where it is? You go back to the colonial mindset. You see, why we kind of cherish the degrees in Africa is because after slavery, 1864, America was probably the last country to eliminate slavery. But you have this spheres of influence, and America is in cahoots with EU in doing this. So what happened is, 20 years after 1864 Emancipation Proclamation, 1884, the Berlin Conference, America was there. The Europeans were there. They gathered. They said, what? Scramble for Africa. They have to come back and more or less re-enslave the black man at home. So they had to scramble for Africa. They themselves got into a fight and they were killing each other. First World War, almost 30 million died. Second World War, almost 80 million died. But what was colonialism? It wasn't just coming, say, this is our country. You put together kingdoms and chiefdoms and you have your own area. They seized lands, agro-industrial estates that already existed. Now, when they seized it at gunpoint, what happened? They told the Africans, now these lands, the farms, they belong to us. Because you had the farm, what happens is, I'm going to give your child the kind of education that I want them to have. He's going to be a bookkeeper. We're going to pay him this money. So they created money. Now, the other Africans started working for the Europeans in those farms. But what they kind of saw was, the owner of the farm, the person who used to own the farm, finally became a bookkeeper, or the son became a bookkeeper, had a degree. So what happened is education became like something that was really very important to the African. Instead of what they've been doing, that was really giving the money and attracted the Europeans. So now we got stuck with the idea of we need to have a degree, we need to have a bachelor's, we need to have a PhD, we don't have to be creative. So you have this spheres of influence now in the world. If you're moving from Ghana, by the time you get to Nigeria, you have Benin right in the middle. Benin is part of this French sphere of influence. And America has a foreign policy never to oppose French influence anywhere in the war, because France helped America during their war of independence. So if you want to make a West African policy, you have the ECOWAS. They wanted to do the eco currency. It didn't work because France, with the complicity of America, came right into the middle and said, no, we're going to create an eco currency for French-speaking West African nations. Because France needs money.
Let me say something. Let me interject right here. African Americans basically bailed out France twice: World War I, World War II.
Right.
African American soldiers who saved France. And what we got now, this is the whole thing. We sacrifice blood, right? We don't see. This is what I'm saying about the African American mind, right? You spent blood. You changed the alter history, right? The balance of world power was in your hands. You changed it, and you got nothing out of it. You know, we sent our boys over to the Harlem Hellfighters, fight Germany and everything like that. World War II and everything. We're flying over France and everything, fight Hitler and everything. But yeah, we come back and we got nothing. Only thing we asked for was to be able to sit at a freaking integrated lunch counter. This is a sick mentality. And we wonder, they say, well, everything bounces out in the world, right? People I give Africans is one thing. One thing I give, despite all the problems in Africa and whatnot, you know, they are making an attempt to build their own government. You know,
Well, you know, the younger Africans who've been able to travel worldwide, they've been able to see the discrimination, they've been able to see the disparity, they've been able to kind of evaluate, because even when I was back home looking at African Americans, I saw mostly from from the movies, from certain things that was exported to Africa. Yes, of course, the bad was there, but the good was there. Coming to America, you kind of have that rude awakening, like what is happening. I went to Southeast DC. I was working home health aid. I couldn't really believe what was happening. Then I began to have a better picture of what really was going on in the world with respect to Black people worldwide. You know, I read books, Marcus Garvey, all of that, going back to Rosa Parks, underground railroads and stuff like that. There you begin to have a better sense of what was going on. But again, with this phase of influence, why America never invested in Africa, because America knew you have a big home Black population in America. Once America has that investment in Africa, African Americans begin to see the development and growth of Africa. They bring the dollar to Africa. Africa begins to have foreign exchange earnings. Because remember, if you want to build roads, Africa never had universities. Even the universities that were established 11th century by Mansa Musa were destroyed. Now Africa has to rebuild. So once you don't have the money, you want to build roads, you have to buy the machines from somewhere, because you don't have a research university. So you don't have foreign exchange earnings. You can print all the Naira you want. You can print all the CFA you want. You're not going to buy from China with the Naira. You need a foreign exchange. You either have the gold or you have the recent fiat system. You need to have a foreign international currency. And that's why the African Free Trade Zone is trying to do, even with the eco currency. Once you don't have it, then the Chinese going to come in and say, you know what? We're going to take this diamond mine. We take it against the dollar. We have the dollar because we have a better foreign exchange against the United States. We'll transfer it. This money is physically transferred. You know, once you don't have it, something that is maybe $1 trillion, African companies will get it for $100 billion. So the Chinese will say, we broker the deal, we'll give it to you. Then we take all the diamond mines, and that's what is happening. But until Africans start creating agro-industrial research centers, engineering, start writing scripts, especially with the automation that is going on.
Let me say
let's get a S Zulu 9. Go ahead. S Zulu 9.
Can you hear me fine?
We hear you now. Go ahead.
All right, sir. So as Black people, in essence, what we're saying is we're getting our ass whooped by evil teamwork. Evil teamwork is what I'm calling it. And in America, at least, we have immense economic power that we're not using. And what do I mean by that? Black people continue to be, our bodies continue to be the main things that generate money. And when I'm talking about the NBA and the NFL, 74% of us is running the NBA. 8.76 billion was generated in 2019, with 74% of Black bodies actually coming to the gym, doing the practice, and then being the spectacle that everyone wants to see. So 8.76 billion in 2019. And now think about 2018, 2017, 16, 15, and on. So as Black people, there's two balls we can squeeze. I'm talking about like a man's balls. The NBA and the NFL. If we refuse to quit allowing our Black bodies, our excellent Black bodies, to stop generating wealth for other people and not getting paid crumbs,
with all due respect, brother,
we can squeeze those balls.
We need to focus on. Hold on, we need to focus.
No, this is hold on a second. This is a technique I'm trying to describe.
NBA, these people are sold as slaves. They're not going to deliver.
Yep, and it can change. It can change. Hold on a second. It can change. I'm saying it can change.
Keep worrying about entertainers, celebrities,
brother. Yes,
they're not going to freaking change, brother.
Yes, it can change. It can,
they're
brother.
Not going to change. It's not going to benefit us, man.
Yes, it can. You haven't heard my technique yet. Hold on a second.
This brother just said. Just now,
I heard everything. I've been waiting patiently,
building wealth, whatnot, through the trade and everything. That's the answer. Worrying about celebrities
and all
stuff like this not going to work.
Yes, it will. You haven't heard my technique yet. You haven't heard my technique yet.
Let's wait. What's your technique, bro? With all due respect, what's your technique?
I just explained that. The first thing we got to do is unify. without unity, without
Dude, man, there's not going to be any. There's not going to be, bro. You think I've been around a long time, man? Before you were born, there's not going to be no so-called unify. You know?
Yes, it's possible.
Everybody's talking
it's
the
possible.
same thing. You're singing to the choir.
No,
we
it's
need
possible.
to unify. We need to unify. We need,
yeah.
we need to do this, but bro, that's not going to happen, man.
Yes, it will.
This is an intelligent conversation.
Hey, but
I'm telling you, yes.
Let me hear the rest. Okay,
yes.
Unification. What else, brother?
Yeah, okay.
What's next?
So, yes, sir. So, unification is the number one thing that all black people all over the world must do.
No,
must unify.
Okay.
And then to be able to
number two. Go ahead.
and to be able to leverage our economic power. That is one way we can do that together, by refusing to allow our bodies to continue to generate wealth for other people without having to say so, by getting paid crumbs to do it. And yes, I'll do the work to talk to celebrities and get them to change. I'm doing that right now. I'm working towards it, and I have solutions for young people too, to make money as individuals. It's not being out here all having these individual struggles. We're getting whooped by evil teamwork, and we're not respected in the world because we are not doing teamwork for ourselves. That's the reason why the whole world shits on us, because we are not doing teamwork, and we're getting whooped by evil teamwork. We have to step up to that level of our own teamwork to be able to overcome evil teamwork. That's the principle that we're not operating in right now.
Okay. What's number three? What's number three?
It's just what I said. Squeeze them balls is number three.
Paul.
Paul. It's
yeah,
possible.
Pause. Okay, go ahead, Bucci. I will repeat that. Go ahead, Bucci. Unmute yourself, Bucci.
But nice comment, though. I like to see young people engage.
Bucci, you gotta mute yourself, Bucci.
Thanks for calling in, though, brother.
Yes, sir. And I'm 40 years. I'm 40 years old, by the way.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Bucci.
All right. Thanks, Dennis.
How old are you?
Thanks, Dennis. So I just said a few things, Dennis. So I know you were talking about the citizenship, about the young boy that killed people in Buffalo, right? I have to push back on that, because, you can see, if you trace that young man, you might find out that maybe he might be Europe white, right? But his family might have been in the US for 100 years or 50 years. He's from Europe. And so he has no more claim to US citizenship than you guys that are African American have been here for
they don't
over
see that.
400.
They don't see that.
I understand. No, hear me out, Dennis. My point is, so you cannot just acquiesce and say just because they feel this way, therefore, you should not claim your rights to. You are citizens, and nobody should take that away. Whether you decide to act in the U.S. and in the continent, that's fine. But African Americans are U.S. citizens 100%. Nobody should question that.
Mucci, you're absolutely right. But the problem is, okay, you're right. But again, why is the Nigerian immigrant, the Jamaican immigrant, the Haitian immigrant, how do they become enemy number one to so-called FBA, ADOS?
Well,
okay. That's the part I'm trying to make.
Well, I don't pay much attention to that myself because you know what? Guess what? I'm not one of those Africans that says African Americans should feel that they are African. I'm only concerned with African Americans that feel that they're African and they want to work with Africans. The ones that think they're Indians or they're white, whatever else they are, I don't care about that. It's none of my business. And I do not get to define somebody who they are. I mean, that's just for you're going to be frustrated for the rest of your life if you're going to try and tell people that, hey, you're African American, but you're African. No, okay, at least that's not my tech. I'm not in that business. Anyway, the second thing, one lady was talking about reparations. Complete waste of time. Complete waste of time. Because why? Guess what? It would need to go through Congress. It would need to go through the Senate. If the establishment really wanted to give reparations to African Americans, they could do it just like this. They do not want to do that. Look at how much money they've given to Ukraine. There's a bill right now for $40 billion they're supposed to be giving to Ukraine, right? Look, when the COVID happened, how many trillions were pumped into the economy? The US can print money, and they always print money when there's a crisis. They did it during the housing crisis 2008. They've done it during the COVID. So the Treasury can print money if they want to. So they have enough money if they wanted to give reparations. They are not interested. I think African Americans trying to fight for reparations, complete waste of time.
Yeah, I agree.
As it is, it's not going to happen. It's not that the money is not there. There's just no willingness to do that. Okay. And then I go to education. I heard my Nigerian brother talking about, one guy talking about Nigerians and them. Yeah, you know what? Guess what? I'm from Zimbabwe. Zimbabweans are some of the most educated people in the
They
continent
are
too.
educated black people in the continent.
But guess what?
Zimbabwe.
Guess what? But guess what? We still get a messed up situation. One part of it, we got the sanctions, but other parties, we don't respect each other, right? So all the education you can get in the school is worthless if you can't work together or value each other's lives, right? Same
Or
as
you
in
can't get a
Nigeria.
job. You can't get a decent job.
And other thing, like I agree with Carla when you talked about even education. Sometimes you have to deep dive right into what kind of education are we getting? True. Look at the Indians; they get paid a lot of money because a lot of them are into tech and medicine. And I know there's a lot of Nigerians in medicine too. But I think in Africa we overvalue education and having desk jobs, right? And then actually, I think the white people kind of tricked us because guess what? When you're in the US, you find that the people working in the trades, they make much more.
They make way more than the freaking people.
Than me, who has got an MBA and has got an engineering degree. They can make much more than educated. Somebody with college degrees. Okay.
Let me say this right here. The problem is in America, right? In a lot of America, a lot of Africans immigrants come in, not Caribbean, African would come over here, and they sort of like, well, geez, my job is and rightfully so. But what I heard was the average doctor in Rwanda, right? Now they're trying to build a nation, right? Rwanda's GDP is only $10 billion a year. A doctor's yearly salary after all education is $12,000 a year. You know?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes,
a doctor in America is starting at $180,000 a year. You know?
Yeah, but
hold on. Well, let me say this, right? Mm-hmm. What's happened is we have the modern day slave trade going on, which Africans are getting their degrees and whatever it is through trade deals and everything like that. They're going to Europe, getting their degrees, going country to country, getting their degrees and everything. And then they're coming and working for the white man, you know, in Canada and everything like that. Because there's no money on the African continent. So right now, because of the EU and the African Union, Africa is becoming a source of labor again, you know, for the world. You know, all these people talk about my degree.
But okay, yes,
modern day slave going to the West to like that. If we could ever get to the point where we as African Americans using the Sister City Project, we'll talk about that one day. Sister City thing, we have a lot of African Americans have a lot of power in America, you know, on a local level. Make no mistake about that. You know, don't look at the federal government on the local school boards, pension funds, teachers funds, all that. Black people sit on a lot of pension funds across America. You talk about hundreds of billions of dollars, right? That money can be leveraged, you know, invested in Africa. Same way the white people, corporations and endowments used to invest in South Africa, the Rand, you know, when the Rand was a currency of reserve at one time, you know. We could do that to any country in Africa, right? If we were organized, you know, if we were organized on that level, you know.
Yep.
African Americans need to have African Americans need to have a honest conversation about how they are going to deal with some of their approach to the world, especially when it comes to the African continent. You see, when we talk about coming together and doing stuff in terms of pulling our resources and degrees and all the rest of it, everything has, you know, it's like a two-edged sword. They are using our minds right now. We can turn it around if we are organized. That's why the gentleman I talked about us not being organized, that's where the issue is. Because we can buy their intellectual property right. We can use their own brain and build whatever we want, just as they are using us today. It's just we are not organized. And we have to, that's why I think we need to talk about some of all these things, the African American, and it needs to be honest. We need to know the path we are going, because this is an evolutionary advantage here. If we don't do it, the consequence of this is we're going to be passing it like a venereal disease to the next generation over and over again, and until there is nothing left. We just have to figure out what we want and start going for it. If you want your African Americans to be strong, you know the continent is the source of where your strength is going to come from. Then don't let American policy just be the policy of the pan-European policy. It should also be pan-African policy. Because right now in Zambia, America just decided that they want to open.
Well, how do we do this? To Niger has a problem. To Niger has a problem. we have Stacey Abrams, we have Benjamin Crump, and we have all Al Sharpton and whatnot. Only thing black people in America, 45 million people, right? We're not allowed to sit back and say what we want. They're giving us our agenda, right? We're already we got.
And I told you, and to Niger, hold on, caller. The agenda to Niger. Here's the agenda to Niger. To Niger, your son, if he wants to identify as a woman, it's okay. And damn it, you better not tell him otherwise. What else? The so-called people not able to vote, which I don't know anyone who went to a poll and was turned around because of racism. But they're telling us voter suppression. And then what's the next one? So we got that
abortion.
No. I said it earlier in the show. It was another one. There's one more that we're focused on. So-called voters' rights. Oh, and listen, women wanting to kill their babies is totally okay. It's okay.
Those leaders are sellouts. They are total sellouts, and somebody needs to hold them accountable. They are not leaders.
But they got the money to Niger. They control the media. They control the Democratic Party.
What are the churches doing? What are all these thousands of churches people have doing? They should be organizing meetings among themselves to organize the community. We just can't keep going around. 10 people have just died yesterday. They just keep targeting us on and on and on from every direction, really. Sooner or later, somebody needs to call people together and say, no, what's going on here? We need to figure out how we are going to deal with this. Because some of all these leaders we have in Washington, they are all sellouts. They can't even pass one law to do with George Floyd. Nothing. This is why
that is the same problem that you have with black power. Is always pegged to the dominant power. Because what is the Commonwealth of Nations? What is France Afrique? It is the same thing. Get the leaders to be pegged to someone, and then they do their bidding. Same thing with African American leaders. I just said that when you have the affluent, they have the money, they have the influence, so they're going to have the rhetoric. Then the masses are going to follow because they have the money. When you tell people something, I mean, it's just a cliche in America. You repeat it several times, people begin to believe. So African Americans just have to vote Democratic without asking why, without even saying that, what do we get? If we don't get this, be assured that next time we're voting an independent or a Republican, if you do not put something to weigh against your votes, it doesn't count. So the African American leaders, whether Kamala Harris, Obama, all of these people, they are the same like African leaders. They peg to France Afrique. These are people who attend Commonwealth Summit, but they don't skip Nelson Mandela's funeral. You know, so that's just the idea. And we begin to think that we have leaders. If the youths do not challenge these people from the African Union and begin to do what is necessary for the continent, there's no hope because the money is still in Europe. Because even African currencies, I think even Nigeria prints money in, I guess it's Holland. You know, you have many of these countries, they can't even print their money. If you can't print your money, and if you print your money in France, you print it in Holland. It's an easy thing for somebody, even if that money becomes international currency. They can
let me say, brother Africa, let me say something, right?
Right.
I was against the coup in Guinea, right? I was against the coup in Guinea, right? Because I was under this facade. I was all the African Cunyan, you know. Yeah, we all together. The coup in Guinea taught me something, right? And I like this brother that's the junta headed guy. I forgot the guy's name, right? I like what he stands for. He said, look, all the stuff that we talk about, see, all the stuff that we talk about here, right here, there's somebody in the military in Africa who's listening to this, right? And African leaders know that, right? And so they're like this. The coup in Guinea, he said, look, we've been taking bauxite out of the country. We're still poor, right? You're going to basically process the bauxite here, and then we're going to build industries around that, right? And they signed an agreement with Liberia, a new trade, a railway going from Port of Buchanan to Guinea, the interior Guinea, right? That means manufacturing could come.
Hold on, let me read this real quick. Hi, Dynast panel and chat. No disrespect to Niger, but he sounds so naive when it comes to matters in the U.S. I think Niger is putting up a front. Cause no way he could be Niger. I don't think you're this ignorant, Niger. I just think you're playing. You know, you gotta have balance.
No. I feel like you have churches.
She's right. I just think Niger's just doing this to kind of bring balance.
Okay, when is it? Okay, let me see what she says. Sounds too naive when it comes.
He's an idealist. Niger is an idealist. He don't really understand. He really thinks
what does she have an issue with? You can't just say I'm being naive. You have to tell me what I said, that logistically is incapable of being made manifest, tell me what I said that cannot be done.
To Niger. One thing you said, okay?
Yeah.
Just previously, somebody was addressing something and you said, what are the churches doing? What are the churches going to do in the US? They're going to power. What can they do?
They have the ability to bring people together. They are able to send their people to polling stations.
But
they have the ability to bring people together.
We live in the real world, not in an imagined world, okay? If they had that
ability, I just said they take people to voting stations. That is real world.
But what I'm telling you is, if they had the power to change anything that you think that is existing now, and this hasn't been changed, that means they don't have the power to do it. As simple as that. Anyway, just two other things I wanted to speak about, and then I'll keep quiet, Dennis. On the education front, right, I really think that African governments, especially African governments, they really have to put major focus on the technical trades, engineering, technical trades, because these are the people who build the nations, you know. It's not the accountants, it's not the finance people, it's not the people in I mean, I think we need to put major focus. Unfortunately, they made it such that I know, at least in the case of my country, if somebody went to go to a mechanical school or something like that, a trade school, you know, the people are supposed to be not smart, but those are the people who build roads. Those are the people who build things, you know. So we need major focus on that. And then the last thing, I know somebody was talking about the NBA. Okay, let me say this: the NBA is about $12 billion business. Okay, the NFL is about $6-7 billion business. So that's $20 billion. Okay. The US GDP in 2020, US GDP was $20 trillion. Okay, so get this: 20 billion, 20 trillion. Okay, so that's 20 out of 20,000. That's 1 out of 1,000. So that's 0.1% of the US economy. It's nothing. It's just a mirage. It's just a facade to make us think that black people are well off. The NBA.
Somebody needs to mute himself in the background. I think that's Norman who's on. I think he might be on the bus.
Yeah,
so the
NBA, the NBA and the NFL. Yeah, there's those guys that are playing. Yes, they're millionaires. Fine, but the Black American economy is $1.3 trillion or whatever it is, right?
Yes,
that's much bigger than the NBA players. Probably get half or maybe less of the 20 billion. So let's just suppose they get 10 billion.
Yes.
10 billion out of 1.3 trillion, that's another, it's just 1%. So really, if the people just get together and decide where they want to invest, we wouldn't have to worry too much about what the NBA or the NFL players do. The average person in the US, if they get together, the one advantage you have as citizens of African Americans, I always say, is that you have the lowest interest rates in the world, because the US dollar is printed right here. If you take that dollar to anywhere in the world, you are at an advantage, because you go on the continent, they're charging 15%, 20%, 10% interest rates. So right there, just borrowing money from, if you have good credit, borrowing money from the US and doing something overseas, you're already making profit. But anyway, that's all.
Hold on. Let me say something real quick. Cash Zulu, we did let you on. We allowed you on the show, Cash Zulu, but we called your name 20 times, and for some reason your Obama phone wasn't working. So we've moved on. Maybe later, another show. All right, Diogo Mate, go ahead. Unmute yourself, Diogo Mate. Diogo Mate. Going once, going twice. All right, gone. Marcus T, go ahead and unmute yourself. Go ahead, Marcus.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can barely hear you, Marcus.
Can you hear me now?
No, we can't hear you, Marcus. We can't hear you, Marcus. All right, U.S. lawyer, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Hear you just fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna say there's no coincidence. Yeah, it's no coincidence that we made all of our real advances in civil rights at the same time that Africans are getting their independence.
Hey, is it just me, or is U.S. lawyer? Can you hear clearly, U.S. lawyer? Yeah, we can't hear you, U.S. lawyer.
It's muffled, bro. He probably is on speaker. Are you on speakerphone? You gotta take yourself on speaker.
Okay, let me see. Hold on a second.
Okay, all right.
Dude, come on. It's still show.
Yeah. Greater Ethiopia. Go ahead.
Hey, what's going on, Dynasty Amir? Can you hear me?
Thank you. Yes.
Hear you just
clear.
fine. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, man. I just wanted to chime in on this subject. You know, being an FBA myself, I've been living in Africa for 7 years, as you know. And one of the things I can tell you about living on the continent is a lot of FBAs, they get confused about Africans in general, from the Africans here on the continent based on the Africans that's actually living in America. Because when you get a chance to come to Africa, you will see things in a different perspective. Like a lot of Africans here has been very hospitable towards me. I met a lot of beautiful brothers from Kenya, Uganda. I'm in Ethiopia right now, and they have been open arms to me, you know. And I just realized this division that's happening in the United States, and it didn't even dawn on me until I started, you know, keeping up with, you know, Tariq Nasheed and keeping up with your channel and stuff. But over here on the continent, to be honest with you, I've had a pleasurable experience living here. There has been times where people, they don't understand my culture. Like in general, a lot of Africans, they don't understand FBA history. When I tell them that I'm Black American or I'm from America, they assume that like, oh, where your family from? Kenya? Like, no, I'm Black American. Oh, so that means that your mom moved to America, but like, they don't understand the concept that some of us Black Americans have been in America for 200-300 years. You know what I mean?
You know, Great Ethiopia, if I can interject, I think that's more of an East Africa thing, and the reason why I say that,
I seen
hold on, Carl, let me finish. So, because when I go to West Africa, you know, they know the difference. But when I was in Tanzania, like the same thing that your experience is my experience. They're like, okay, all right, you're Black American, but what tribe are you from?
Yeah.
No, I don't. You know, at the time when I first went in 2011, I didn't know. They didn't understand. Like, what do you mean you don't know? Like, you gotta know.
Yeah.
Like, which tribe are you from? So that's more of an East African thing. Because West Africa, like, it's pretty much clear. But go ahead.
Yeah, and another thing I noticed is once you get a chance on the continent to talk one-on-one with your African brothers and sisters and explain to them, hey, you know, for instance, sometimes, not very often, but a few times people say the N-word to me, you know? And I say, hey, brother, you know, look, I don't really appreciate that word. That word does not describe me, you know, and they just think that they're being hip, you know what I'm saying? They think that they've just been, you know, like they watching TV or something on, you know, Hollywood, because they never been to America. So I say I have to explain to them and break it down to them that that's a derogatory term to represent Black Americans. And so some of them, they get it, and then they say, oh, okay, they understand, you know. So I think it's like a step-by-step process of us, you know, being able to renew our relationships, because this internet is bringing the world together now, and we're starting to see things differently. And so that's my opinion about things. But there are some, be honest with you, there are some coons in America. Like, for instance, my neighbor, you know, he never talks to me, you know, and I never knew why he never talked to me. And I started to realize that maybe he doesn't want to connect with me because my FBA foundation, and he's from another country. So, I mean, to make a long story short, I believe that, like, as long as you're on code, then there is no reason why the FBA family and the African immigrant family can't unite. Because right now, I know you know what's going on in Nigeria right now. I'm keeping up what's going on with Nigeria. A lot of Nigerians, even they say, hey, look, what's going on in the north, I want no part of, you know, and I want to separate. So I'm not going to sit up here and say, oh, you guys can't separate, or try to intermix myself in their politics, because I'm not a part of their you know, their culture. So I can't really just jump into the midst. But I sympathize with what they're going through right now, you know, with this poor girl Deborah, who just got stoned to death. I sympathize with them, but I don't try to tell them what they can't do or what's not possible, you know. So, because I know my boundaries, you know. Like in Africa, I don't involve myself in African politics. I stay completely out of African politics. I might keep up with it. I give my opinion when someone asks sometimes, but I know that this is not my country. This is not my continent, because it is, but it's not. Like, I don't feel like I have the authority to give people opinions and voice my opinion and push my agenda on people here on the continent, because I am an immigrant here myself. You see what I'm saying? So I wish that other immigrants who live in America, they do the same with us FBAs and our fight for reparations, because some people say, oh, you might not get reparations. I might not get reparations, but the fight in itself is a political stance. It's my political stance of what I represent. Even if I don't get it, I want to tell you that I'm coming for it, because it's my way of showing where I stand right now mentally and where I'm trying to go in my direction of my life. That's what I'm trying. That's all I want to say. I'm leaving it at that.
I appreciate it, brother. All right, we'll take a couple more callers. Kyler, you want to add to that?
Yeah, I want to add to that. Well, first of all, the guy sounds like Eddie Murphy, you know. And boy, I thought, I was like, is that Eddie Murphy talking? You know. Anyway, there was this one movie where Orlando Jones, whatever, what's that, Bloom, whatever his name is, black guy, tall guy, the bull guys.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he was on some survival mission in the Congo, right? And then one bro was asking you, "You're from America? How you look from America?" You're black. Oh, well, look, my brother was saying, my ancestors came here, was originally from here, but we came to it. That's the only time I've ever seen that interaction. And we need to see more of that, you know, more of that in film and everything, the African American in Africa, you know? And so the whole thing, there's a briefing, like I said, and I got to leave. When you go overseas, a black person in the Peace, why a black person works in the Peace Corps, I have absolutely no idea. Maybe because of the money. The money must be good, you know?
No, they're not getting paid like that in Peace Corps.
But don't they get college credits or something like that? You know, whatever they're doing.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean the travel but they're not getting paid like that in Peace Corps.
Okay, but anyway, when you go to a country, especially in Africa, right? My girl Kaylin Sutton told me this, right? She's in Namibia. She married in Namibia. You know, she's the one who started all this African American in Africa. You know, we got to one day get her on the show. You know, she has a show, blog African American Africa. Anyway, what she basically told me was that she had to get 2 briefings, right? As a Peace Corps volunteer, as a worker, and the second one as an African American. Why? Because people overseas, right, when they think of somebody coming over to help them, whatever like that, they perceive the person as having white skin, being white, and a lot of people get pushback. So they said you got to explain to them this is what this say everything, because automatically they're expecting the person to be white. That's how white supremacy works, you know. They expect the person to be white and everything like that. So the African American does not exist, you know. Or then when you are with the white person, they assume the white person is your boss or your superior, and you're just like that, you know. So all these things that we have to fight as African Americans. So I don't understand the purpose of ADOS FBA. That just means I want to be a better house Negro and everything like that. Well, anyway, Diane, I gotta go.
Okay, brother.
For hosting, we'll be here. We're definitely gonna do this Wednesday night.
This is Carla, wait, I just have to let you know that you have made my day with that my degree stuff.
My degree.
Yeah, that is something that Nigerians need to hear that more often. I think they need to hear that more often.
The degree in Africa is the difference between you eating or starving. You know, in America, you don't need a degree to live. Africa, the degree is survival. You know, that's why they come in. Why don't you have you African Americans don't have your degree?
To Niger, we can agree on that. To Niger, Zimbabweans need to hear that more often too.
But hold on, we got let's Marcus T. Go ahead and mute yourself, Marcus. Go ahead, unmute yourself.
Yeah. So Kala just left, but there's something I wanted to say. That I wanted to say something in regards to Tariq Nasheed. So I understand he's a very controversial figure, and what I like about Tariq Nasheed, and I don't necessarily agree with everything, but what I like about Tariq Nasheed is that he keeps the pressure on all of these different groups that are disrespectful to FBAs, and he's not necessarily targeting all Africans. He's targeting a specific class of Africans that he calls tethers, and he's targeting them because they're off code with FBAs, and when they come over to America,
let me ask you, what's the code? What is the universal? Because I'm FBA by definition. Okay. I'm FBA ADOS.
Okay.
All right. Born and raised here in America. Please tell me the universal code of FBA ADOS that is just universal. Tell me right now.
Okay, so the universal code of FBA ADOS is black first.
No, it's not.
Like he said, Norman Johnson. That's exactly correct.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It's got to be that.
Listen. We had FBA and ADOS, right? Men and women. When Ice Cube said, "Listen, let's see what we get for our vote." It was black folks that said, "Ice Cube, shut up. We got to get rid of the orange man." So there's that. Hell, I mean, what is it? Okay, here we go. You say FBA, ADOS, universal code is black first. When we get paid on Friday, how much of that money is circulated? How much of that money circulated in the black community before it leaves, versus Chinese, versus Jewish communities, versus Spanish communities?
Here's the thing. We are
no. Marcus, I just asked the question. Like, how much of that money is actually circulated in the black community? How many black hands does it pass through?
It
doesn't
circulate. It doesn't circulate.
Okay, so there is no universal FBA code. It doesn't exist.
What I was trying to say is that we are trying to reconstitute ourselves as a community, and so this FBA thing is a positive development because it creates a sense of recreates a sense of togetherness for African Americans. A sense of togetherness that we used to have, but we no longer have. So, basically, what he's trying to do is he's trying to get us all on the same page. And so, groups that come over here that are disrespectful to that idea, he goes after. He goes after them very consistently. But if you notice his Twitter feed, he's going in on white supremacists constantly. Like nonstop. So his whole thing is let's all get on code. Let's give these white supremacists that work. All right. And if you're not on that same page, then we've got a problem.
Can you give an example?
If that was the case, nobody would be going after him. If he was just going after white supremacists and going after black people that are off code, nobody would be complaining about what he's doing. Because we all go after black people that are of the so-called code you're talking about. That is what Dynast is doing. That's what Brandon does. But what he tends to do is he actually goes after Africans. And you use the term tethered babies. You see what I mean? Is it all of the tethered babies that are the ones that are off code? No. You are targeting a set of people, and you try to explain it away by saying he's going after people that are off code. It's not about being off code. I've heard those people say very derogative things about Africa, and they try to even align themselves more with the system that is basically pan-European. Really. So let's not make mistake of pretending as if those guys are being benign and they are trying to defend African American. They are trying to divide your community. That's what they are truly doing. If you want people that are uniting your country, your community, personally, I don't see so many of them right now. That's why I think within the community, you guys need to seriously be coming together and find out what is going on here. 10 people just died yesterday, and there is no common front. KS died. Some of them are celebrating. What is this? It's anarchy, and the same thing is happening on the continent.
Well, the thing is, to Niger, I just want to address to Niger, then I'll address you, sir. But to Niger, on Africa, on the continent of Africa, you have thousands of different tribes and ethnic groups. What are you doing in Africa to unite all of the different tribes and ethnic groups in Africa, sir? Because there's so many different tribes and ethnic groups, and FBAs are just one group.
Yeah. See, what I'm doing in my own small capacity is to let them understand that, especially in the case of Nigeria, where they target the Fulanis, I tell them the Fulanis are not your problem. They are not in Sudan. They are not in Somalia. They are not in Congo. You have to remember that we all have a shared problem here. We have a greater threat that we all have to confront as a group. Because whenever we keep talking about each other constantly, we are missing the picture. That is what I try to let them know. And believe in me, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm not just going about talking. And whenever I say stuff, people just think I'm being ideological. Most of the things I ask for are simple things that are already on the ground. I don't talk airy-fairy. I know black churches take black voters and get them to go and vote. I know they tell them who to vote for. So hold them accountable. Tell them, okay, we need to come around the table here. That these people are running circles around us. What is happening here? Let's talk about what is good for us. Because currently we have a European policy. What is the Pan-African policy? Let me tell you this. In Zambia recently, the American people went there and said they want to open a military base. They didn't even consult the people. They are using Africa now as a kind of front now for them to have their proxy wars. And African Americans are sitting there, and that is their linchpin for their power. And they are not having any meetings about all these things. We have to really realize that we are all linked, and until we start organizing based on that, we're going to be missing the picture. Tariq Nasheed is using Africans to unite the African American. What is that? You are using your own to unite another group within the community. Why don't you use the Europeans as a way of uniting your own group instead of using Africans as that? So sorry, I'm a bit ranting on this one.
I understand. I'll just say this real quick, then I'll leave. Because Two Niger made a point about the churches to be held accountable. But this is the thing. You have to go back to the history of the churches, especially the recent wave of charismatic Pentecostal evangelical Christianity in Africa. It's an extension of colonial power. It came first about 1958 with the Catholics in Nigeria, in Lagos, and many Africans have been aligned with different ideologies. And now on the continent, on every block, you see 5 Pentecostal churches. Africans have forgotten about creativity, even the basics. All lands in Africa belonging to the government are free for farmlands. That's true. I mean, I've never been to all African countries, but it's mostly true. Now, the thing is, this whole seed sowing and prosperity and miracle worship has taken away the last frontier of African capability and ingenuity, to the extent that people align with these pastors, just like in America, and they vote along those lines, because you see in Africa, even because the evangelicals in America are tied to the Pentecostals in Africa, people in Africa tend to see Trump, who disrespected even Nelson Mandela, as a hero more than even Obama. But where did it come from? Because when you look at all the big mega churches, which I call business religious enterprises, pulpiteers, what do? They kind of get these people to be aligned ideologically, and they vote a certain way. Platforms like this, where people come in, they have different ideas and listen to different speakers, I think they serve a better purpose than just aligning with someone like Creford Dollar, who needs a 65 million Gulfstream jet to fly to Dubai and stuff like that. So we really want to keep those type of things in perspective to understand where colonial power is. It's not just in the political structure, it's there invested and deeply seated in religion. Well, thank you guys. I will probably see you guys again.
All right, appreciate it. We'll do one more round and we'll close out. Let's see. Marcus T, anything you want to say? Close
Yeah.
out?
Basically, Dina, I had a question for Marcus.
Go ahead.
So Marcus, can you please? I've worked with African Americans in corporate and in government here in the U.S. I want to ask you, can you please tell me 1 or 2 specific things that African immigrants do that are off code? And before you answer, I just want to say this. Mention this. On this panel of less than 10 people maybe speaking, we are not homogeneous. We have different ideas. We are individuals. But I want to think we're all pro-Black. So it seems like a big ask to think that all African immigrants would stay on code if there was such thing as an on code. But can you please tell me what 1 or 2 things that African immigrants do that rouse this Tariq character so much that we're off code? Thank you.
So if I can add to that real quick, more off code to the point. Okay, what are Black immigrants doing that is so-called off code that is more off code than what ADOS, FBA are doing to themselves each and every day as far as sabotaging ADOS FBA. I will add that too. But go ahead, Marcus.
Okay, so those are both good questions. I'm going to address each question separately. So to address Muchi's question, so when African immigrants, and it's not just African immigrants, it's also Caribbean immigrants as well. Sometimes when they come here, they oftentimes you have a lot of Caribbean and African immigrants who become politicians, and they start espousing basically white supremacist talking points, or they become people like Candace Owens. They get on Twitter and they start.
Okay. Let me ask you this, Marcus, not to cut you off. Tell me which. Okay, so you have Jim Clyburn, you have Maxine Waters. We'll just start there.
Maxine Waters
that don't do jack for the black community.
Maxine Waters, I think, is an. I'm not sure, but I think she might be an immigrant or the daughter of immigrants. I'm not sure.
But you don't know.
I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah. Okay, Jim Clyburn.
Jim Clyburn. Jim Clyburn is part of that old political class of Negroes that. Okay. Yeah, I mean, look.
Here's another one. Al Sharpton. Here's another one. Tamika Mallory. Here's another one. They ran off with 9. I know one of the girls.
So here's the thing, right?
So that's my point. What is the immigrants doing that's worse?
And he has not mentioned. And Dennis, he has not mentioned specifically one African politician. Also, if he can be specific.
Okay. Ilhan Omar. Okay. Ilhan Omar. She capes for immigrants. She doesn't say a word about, helping Black Americans. Her first priority is immigrants, right? So, but she uses the struggles of Black Americans in order to make her point. So that's what I'm talking about. Is people that come here, they use our stuff, right? They use us in order to advance their own interests, of their particular group.
But Marcus, that lady you're talking about, right? First off, Minnesota, she was elected simply because the area that she is predominantly populated by Somalians. So they rightly so, they elected one of theirs, right? So she's going to advocate for them. There's nothing wrong with that. So, okay.
But the problem
wait a second. Beyond that, we are 54 or so countries in Africa. In Zimbabwe, we barely have any Muslims in the country. Okay, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Islam or whatever, right? But so you cannot apportion blame to 1.3 billion just because one lady, that's a congresswoman in Minnesota, it does something that you do not like, and then you say
Muchi, she has outsized influence because she's a politician. That's the problem.
How many?
Here we go. Muchi, how much money the ADOS FBA lobby group? How much money have you guys put towards Ilhan Omar's campaign?
So I think that's an irrelevant question because
how is it irrelevant?
Because
you're complaining about politicians, but you guys don't have a lobby group where you have to fund these politicians to get whatever initiative you guys have across.
We are funding pro reparations politicians. For example, what's his name? Marcel. So there's this guy in South Carolina.
Marcel Dixon. I know you're talking
Marcel Dixon, right? Marcel Dixon. He's basically, if there was a pro FBA or pro, B1 candidate that everyone is on board with right now, it's that guy. So
okay, so how much money have you guys contributed to Marcel Dixon's campaign?
I can say that I've contributed $50 myself.
No. Okay, no. I'm talking about the entire FBA ADOS lobby. Because you guys have a lobby, right?
We have a movement more so than
no. Do you guys have a lobby, yes or no, where you guys present your initiatives or demands to politicians backed by money? Yes or no?
Absolutely. That's what it's. Look,
Okay,
that's
so
what we're doing.
how much money have you
That's
guys
what we're doing.
contributed?
That's what we're doing on Twitter. I don't
dude,
I don't represent.
How much
I don't represent
money have you
FBA.
guys funded to these politicians?
I can't give you a specific number because
See, this
I'm
is the
not a part
problem.
of the
This is the
campaign.
problem. I'm not pocket watching. I'm not, but this is the issue. You guys can come up with $2 million for a museum. That's probably not going to happen. But you cannot tell me the amount of money that you guys have funded that goes towards to fund these politicians to push your initiatives.
I don't in any way represent FBA. So I mean, you can't. That's kind of unfair to say. Okay,
you don't represent, but I think you are defending somebody that has a problem or issues with black immigrants. Okay, and then also there's
he has issues with some black immigrants.
Okay, with some. Okay, fine. If it's some, I understand, because guess what? There's a lot of Latino people that are in Congress and all over in politics in the U.S. and they advocate for Latino immigrants.
He goes after them too. He goes after them.
But so are you saying they should not advocate for their people? What's wrong with advocating for your people?
No. This is what we're saying. Okay, yeah. and what I'm saying, this benefits all black people. Believe it or not. Okay, so when they use terms like people of color, right? Okay. When they use all these vague terms that have no real meaning or doesn't refer to any specific group, all right, that's a trick bag. And so they're using those terms. Latinos, Asians, all of these other groups are using that term in order to advance their agenda. And so that is part of the problem.
The government, no. Okay. Listen, Marcus, be realistic though. That is what the government is defined as people of color. So are you trying to tell me people? I mean, listen, if they say that an Asian is a minority, well, if they are defined as a minority because of the US laws, they're going to take advantage of that. I don't understand. Like,
I totally understand that. I'm saying we need to call that out. Because
no. What you need to do, Marcus, let me tell you something. What you need to do is actually be finding ways and means for African Americans and Africans and other black immigrants to be allies together. Because guess what? The Latino population is increasing all the time. So African Americans, as a percentage of the population, you're going to become more and more insignificant. Okay, that's a fact. That's just numbers. It doesn't matter how you feel about it, how your emotions about. Yes, we know the contributions of African Americans, but if the Latinos keep coming, you know how many people they're catching at the border in every month in Texas, over 200,000-300,000 a month. Those are the people that are catching, not the ones that are going through. Okay, so there's millions and millions of people that don't look like you and me that are entering into this country. Okay, and you are busy trying to defend people that want to separate black Africans, black Caribbeans, African Americans. We are, together we're still not even a big number. So how does that make sense? Let's assume they stop all Africans or Caribbeans from coming in, right? Let me tell you something, man. I work for the government. The way dollars are appropriated in the US, okay, the budget is mostly based on numbers, okay? So they look at all these states, they look at the total population of each state, and that's how you get federal dollars back into the states, okay? So if your population is shrinking, how is that going to help you other than you just pouting nonsense on the internet saying, this? Come on, man. It's just logical. If or whatever, the lady.
Sir, let me answer your question.
All
okay.
Right. Okay.
How is it going to help? Let's look at it this way. Okay. If black immigrants come here, right, and the first thing that they want to do is separate themselves from us, and they want to come up with all these different terms that refer to African Americans. They want to say things like stay away from the Akata and say
Yeah,
things
but
like
they're
that.
but Marcus, they're not all doing that.
Marcus,
Marcus,
that's just rhetoric, man. I stay. My neighbor is African American next door. My neighbor next door is African American. Okay, so what are you? What the hell are you? I'm from Southern Africa. I don't even know what Akata means. What the hell are you talking about? We want to separate ourselves. Who told you that Africans want to? I have lots of friends in the Detroit area. They live among African Americans and all that. So who tells you this nonsense that Africans want to separate themselves? Listen, what Africans separate themselves from is this, okay? If you do drugs, if you are somebody that's just got criminal intentions and all that, hell no, I'm not going to associate with you just because you're black. Just like I would not associate with a Nigerian or with a Zambian or with a South African if he's a criminal. That's just because our behavior is different, okay? That's not because they're African American. But if an African American is an upstanding individual, why would I separate myself? I feel a natural affinity to African Americans because to me, we look the same. We might have different shades, but we're the same people. Just
and Muchi, look, you're Southern African.
Yeah.
Look, Tariq doesn't even have a problem with Southern Africa. He doesn't have a problem with South Africans.
But it's not about Southern Africa, though.
That is not the point.
We are all Africans. You understand?
You are attacking your own community. This is what I just made an example how even Nigerians attack Fulanis. Just because some Fulanis do those things, you have to still remember that they are still your people.
We are the same
there's
people.
a greater threat that you should be
Brother.
confronting instead of telling them to be confronting a smaller threat.
Look,
exactly.
guys.
I go to a barber shop where the guy, some of the guys cutting are from Ivory Coast. There's Nigerians that come there. There's African Americans that come there. There's Ethiopians that come there. There's Zimbabweans that come there. There's a whole lot of Africans and black people that come there, and we don't look at each other like, oh, he's from the FBA. He's from Southern Africa. We are all black people. Do you think when they were stopping black people from riding the trains in Ukraine when the war started, do you think they were saying, are you Nigerian? Are you Igbo? Are you Yoruba? Are you South African? Are you African American? They stopped everybody that looked black. What don't you get?
That's what I call faulty threat assessment. That's what I call faulty threat assessment. You see how these Europeans are responding in your country? They are not stupid. This is what they see threat coming miles away. They're already acting. What Trump did, he consolidated the power of the Europeans in America so that they will stall the time when these minorities start gaining more power. Even when they become majority, it's going to take long. Some of the people he put in court, they will remain in court for the next 50 years.
It's not a Trump issue. I mean, it's not.
No, it's not a Trump issue. No, it's a demographic issue, black-white issue. That's what it is. And those who are defending themselves, they are using terms like the Great Replacements for a reason, because they want to defend themselves. We, instead of also focus on our own people, we're busy looking for a way to divide amongst ourselves. That is the issue with Tariq Nasheed. If everything else he does, he seems to be getting it right, but when he pretends as if he's not targeting black people and dividing among the community, which is very, very insidious, really, and because he's one of the people that owns the space of the discussion. So people within the organization that don't believe in that should call him out.
And to Niger, if you ask 100 African Americans that have visited the continent, okay, and ask them how they've been treated on the continent, 99%, 98% will tell you that they've been treated well. I've hosted in my family. I've hosted a professor from University of Massachusetts. When I was listen, I've hosted a professor from UMass. I'm an African American lady. I've hosted African American military in my family. Okay, staying in our family, not paying a single dollar. What the hell you guys talk about? Oh, Africans hate us. Africans do this. Come on, we are the same people. Stop this nonsense about okay, fine. We understand you are not born in Africa. We are not born here, okay? So fine, you're African Americans, we are black immigrants, but there is more that unites us when trust me, when the white people see us, do you know, I got into, my career development was standard. Guess what? I was working for a top bank and I stood up to defend an African American lady that was being abused by a white guy. I did not have to do that. But guess what? You know why I did that? Because I looked at her as my mom. I looked at her as my sister. Do you understand what I'm saying? But you guys,
look at what happened in Ukraine recently. These people, they literally told African people and black people, like, you know what, you stay there and our people go first. They prioritize their own people. This is what they know where their bread is buttered. The same thing with the Chinese. The Chinese had good agreement with the Russians to help them develop their nuclear technology and everything. Then the Russians came and told them, you know what? Let's work with the Americans. Let's come to Kumbaya with the Americans. The Chinese was like, come to what Kumbaya? I have not finished my nuclear weapons. I'm not buying anything. And they pulled out of relationship with Russians that are building a nuclear power plant. And they pulled out of it. And because of that, China is independent today. We have to learn how to threat assess. What is going on here is that we don't know where our bread is buttered. We don't know who our true enemy is. And we focus on little things when there is a greater threat out there.
To Niger, my last contribution is, you know what, Dynast? Through my work in corporate and in the US government, I want to say this. All the African Americans I've worked with, they have been wonderful people that have treated me like a brother. They have never shown me any type of segregation that I was any different from them. Maybe it's because they're educated. I don't know. But I want to think that there's so many more African Americans that are just like that. It's the few people that want to make money on the internet. They want to say we are different so they can rear up the emotions of people. But you know what? I have trust that the majority of African Americans, they are good people. Just like the majority of Africans are good people. And they recognize that we are the same people. That's it. I'm done. Thank you.
Dynast.
Go ahead, Shirley. Miss Huzar, go ahead.
Thank you, Dynast, for coming, having me on. I was listening to Marcus and Mucci go back and forth over ABS and Black People First. And this is my take on the whole subject matter. When you play the game of chess, each piece contributes something different. Each piece moves across the board differently. But there's one thing that's very prominent. You have a black piece chessboard and you have a white chessboard. You have dark brown or light brown chessboard. When it comes to the descendants of American slavery, we as a people are different than Africans because of the history. When you say, oh, we're all the same, we need to work together. We don't work together. We're not all the same. Being raised in Southern California, I can tell you that when the Africans come here, they gravitate towards their own people. There's a place called Little Ethiopia. And it separates from us. When we talk about immigration, there's a separateness that occurs because people go where they feel comfortable. People go where they can relate to. When it comes to Black Americans, this is me personally. I can't speak for every descendant of slave. But as a Black American, the African American descendants of American slavery should be priority first. They should be the voice that speaks for the people. They should be the people that lead through this country. And any African that comes from another country is an immigrant and a migrant, and you should respect the ideologies of the foundational people who have suffered for 400 years.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself.
See, when you say that people move from the communities and form their own communities, that is what happens everywhere. Even African American people move within different groups too. Let's not pretend as if African Americans are just one monolithic group. They are different. The ones in the South are different from the ones in New York. The same thing is happening. But when you start dividing among the Black community, when it comes to the bigger narrative, you have a problem. Go ahead.
Let me just sum this up like only a true African American could say it. What Shirley just said is the equivalent of a white KKK member saying, we brought your Black ass here from Africa. So if we want to treat you like crap, if we want to act racist and discriminate against you, you should respect the will and mindset of the white people who founded this country and stop complaining and just accept the disrespect and mistreatment. That's basically.
Hold on. Let me say this clearly. What Shirley said, I don't need you to say what Shirley said. I need you to counter-react what I said. I don't need you to think you speak for me. I don't need you to think you speak for me, young man. Child, you don't know what Brandon, you're talking about. I think everyone on this panel has the right to have a different ideology. I said nothing about white people. I said nothing about colonists. I said a chessboard. I said everyone on a chessboard plays a different role. The fact that you don't understand that is your problem. In the state of California, we were never like this.
Dang, I can't even say my point.
Because when you put my name in your mouth, You need
Who's
to
up? Miss
understand my mouth
Shirley,
can
let me
speak for
interject.
itself.
Miss Shirley, let me interject real quick. I'm so
I
sorry.
ain't even an immigrant. And look
No,
what
but
you
hold
talk
on,
to me.
Brandon. Hold on, Brandon. Hold on. So, Brandon, I have a Nigerian passport and I got a Sierra Leone passport, which makes me Nigerian and Sierra Leonean. My Nigerian family told me, Dynast, don't get involved into the tribalism. Don't get involved with the tribalism. And for right now, stay out of the politics. I said, okay. Now, as a Nigerian, I have the right to get involved in the politics. The tribalism, that's a whole nother subject. But I said, you know what? You're right, because I'm new and I don't know as much as I'm still learning. Same thing with Sierra Leone. So I understand where Shirley's coming from.
No, Dynast, you got it all wrong because you don't see, because you got part of this FBA brain where you sympathize with what they're saying. This is the equivalent of the Nigerians telling you, Dynast, you're a Nigerian. You got your passport, but you're still a second-class citizen who has no right to speak on anything, not just politics, but to speak on anything in this country. Even though, see how my brothers agree with me? It's you, Dinah. You're flawed with the way you're looking at what they're saying. When you get that American citizenship, bro, Dynast, you are an American. When you can vote on whatever, you can discuss whatever you want to, and there's no one on earth who can tell you that
No
you
one
gotta
is
play
saying that.
second fiddle.
No one is
You
saying
got,
that.
hold on, my brother. Hold
No
on,
one is saying that.
brother.
They're
I'm gonna
saying
get to you.
they're saying
Dynast, you gotta stop it from interrupting me. I'm not interrupting them. Listen,
Oh, you interrupted
they're
us when we
telling
spoke.
Africans.
You did interrupt
Listen,
us
bro.
when we spoke.
They
When you
have.
start saying people's names and then you start
Here we go.
doing your
Here
own
we go,
utterance
Shirley.
about how we say white people. Nobody was talking about that.
Shirley,
We
this
made
is
it
Marcus.
very, very
Can
clear.
you
No,
let
we
me
made it very clear to you, Brandon, that the descendants of slaves need to lead this fight. Not
Why can't
Africans,
we?
not
Why,
immigrants.
Dynast? Why
No,
can't
when
we
you
talk
try
like
to tie
adults?
us together, you tie our monies together.
Why
We
can't
see
we talk?
civil
Why
rights
can't we
tied
talk
with
like
them.
adults?
We see the LGBT tied to us. We don't want to
Dynast,
tie with none of these people, including you
can we
ranting
talk
about
like
nothing.
adults?
You
Dynast,
just say none of
hold
these
on.
people that you are calling black people, none of
To
these people.
Nigel. Hold on to Nigel. Dynast, let me
Listen,
ask you a real.
I didn't say
Let me ask
none
you a
of these people
realistic
as far as
question.
Africans. I said, and as far as when we talk
Oh,
about an
man.
entity of people. Well, look, I'll give you an example with the Chinese
Yeah,
Americans.
see,
The Chinese
Dynast,
Americans
this is
put
how we
together
play.
a
We go
piece
just
of
roll over
legislation
people.
that allotted them to be coexisting with other cultures of Asians, right? They didn't do what the Japanese. They didn't do what the Japanese. The Chinese people fight for the Chinese people, but they're an Asian community. The Japanese fight for the Japanese, and they're a part of the Asian community. They have clarified and identified who they are. But some
Dynast,
reason, as a descendant of slave,
Hold on,
y'all
let's
won't
bring
leave
that.
us alone. We're not attacking you. We don't say we don't like you, but why would you let us have our own space?
Hey, Brandon,
How
there's
we are
feedback coming from your end, Brandon. There's feedback coming from your end.
that's not even from me. I can't even say my point without everybody interrupting me, Dynast. That's like, come on, bro. You being real
No,
FBA
but
right now. You Tariq Nasheed right now. Muting the person who making sense to magnify the people who making those. Dynast, when you pay taxes, let me ask you a question. As a man, you are a man. Forget all this child's play. When you pay taxes, do they separate your taxes from an Asian's taxes? Do they separate your tax from a Mexican's taxes?
No, of course not.
So Dynast, what we have to realize as men, right? There's really no place for immaturity in this conversation because as men, we know this government is not going to make a distinction between people's money and who gave what, Dynast. They're going to get all the money and they're going to allocate it based on who takes the steps to get the money sent to them. These people claiming FBA, ADOS, all this. Dynast, they have no agenda. They don't even know what they want. They want
our agenda is
reparations.
reparations. It's pretty
Listen,
simple.
brother. Okay,
let me
Marcus,
interject right now.
hold on, Marcus. Let me ask you a question, brother. How much money in reparations you want from the government?
We want to start off. It's a very specific number.
No, it's a very easy question.
Brandon, but seriously, Brandon, that feedback's coming from your end.
Let me interject. Okay,
20 to answer his question, 20 trillion. Starting off, just to start off.
Okay, so when I asked Yvette Carnell, the leader of the movement, she said she didn't know. She said we're working on a number, and they were talking about an excess of
Well,
$100 trillion.
Yvette Carnell is irrelevant. She's
Where are you
not
getting that number? Where are you
ADOS
getting
and,
that number?
and FBA, it does not represent all of us, because let me tell you something. Up until a year or two ago, nobody even called ourselves FBA. I never known myself as an FBA or an ADOS up to 2 years ago. This is relatively new. What we are doing is we are identifying ourselves. We are identifying ourselves as a separate people because we are our history. My great granddad was a slave in America, you know, and if you read these slave narrative books like Frederick Douglass, if you read other slave narrative books, we went through a horrible experience living in the United States, and we have an animosity towards the American system in some kind of way. And a lot of other people, like a lot of other blacks, they don't really feel the same animosity and the same feelings that we have. Now, FBA, ADOS, I'm just glad that my people are starting to recognize who we are, and we're starting to like make a bond with each other. Because
I totally agree with that.
if you think about it, if you say that I'm not ADOS or FBA, whatever, you're saying I'm no one. I have no identity. I feel like I have an identity now. I feel like my people are my people now, and it's naive. It's naive to say that we're all the same people, because you know, here on the continent, I'm on the African continent, and there are tribes fighting each other all the time. They hate each other, and they look exactly identical.
Bro, let me ask you a question.
We're just saying that this is who I am. Shirley is a part of my tribe, you know. Marcus is a part of my tribe. That's it.
Dinus, can I ask you
Let me ask you a question.
Dinus,
Let
can
me
I
ask you a question.
Well said. Well
Hold
said.
on. We need control here. Hold on. Shirley, then Brandon. Go ahead, Shirley. What's your question?
Dinus, let me ask you a question. There's these things called executive orders. These are implemented by presidents, many presidents over the year. Obama, let's just do the recent one. Obama, Trump, Biden. You can throw the Clintons in there as well. These executive orders that continue to get signed on, because a lot of black people don't know history. A lot of black people in this group just jumped into politics and think they've read a couple of books and gone online and not participated in the floor process, participated in the activist process, realize that monies that are allocated to specific groups come through government. And if you're going to give the specific islanders and the Chinese money towards businesses, jobs, opportunities, you're going to give them EB-5 visas, which means the government will match your money you bring into this country. And yet you don't set aside lenience and leverage for black descendants of slaves, but you basically oppress us with migration and immigrants into our community and then tell us that we're all the same. That is a delusion. For those who are descendants of slaves, and now I'm going to speak as a total, as a people.
What happened to the question?
Let me finish my thought. For those of us who are descendants of slaves, we have to have a clear voice first. We're not saying we don't like anybody else. We need to identify as first. If you're a Kenyan, if you're a Nigerian, if you are from Sierra Leone, wherever you are from, you identify that entity, the hair, the style, the clothes, the use of the mud on the face as your own. When you come to America, and then we as Americans who have been in this process for over 400 years have now just ignited and being excited, like Greater said, the rest of you guys get mad and you say we want to destroy and break the world apart. No, we don't. We want you just to identify that the government money is allocated through many executive orders, including the Japanese, including the Jews, including the LGBT, A, B, C, D, E, F, G people. That does not pertain to African-American descendants of Negro slaves. That doesn't. So if we want to grow as a people financially, we have to understand that the leverage of others in this country are killing those who have been here for 400 years.
I think that let me address that point. I think that let me just
go ahead, Brandon.
I was next. I'm gonna ask a real. I'm gonna actually ask a question. Okay, my brother Grady, Ethiopia. How can you? Because I would never define myself as FBA or ADOS, because this is I'm gonna ask you, what is FBA? What is, if I ask you, what is FBA, right? Yes. What is, I'm asking this question, I want you to answer, then I want to ask you one more question. What is FBA?
Okay. Well, let me tell you, Tariq Nasheed made, I'm gonna give it to Tariq Nasheed. He used to
never answer questions straight.
I'm trying to answer my question. It stands
you shouldn't have to mention Tariq. What is FBA?
He's trying to
Yeah,
answer your question.
I'm trying to answer your
the
question,
stand
Brandon.
for
Go ahead,
foundational Black American. Okay, so I mean, you don't give me a chance to follow up with what I believe it more than just the abbreviation. But to be honest with you, let me just keep it real with you. Now, look at my profile picture. I know Dynasty Amir gonna roll his eyes on this one, but we FBAs, in my opinion, are the Hebrew Israelites, man. We are more than FBAs and ADOS, and we're coming together. This is a Bible prophecy coming to pass right now, man. In the last days, my people are going to
listen,
unite.
hold on, let's stop the show. Stop the show. See, this is the problem.
My people will unite.
Hold on, Brandon. Now you're going to overtop your show, Brandon. See, this is the problem. Like every time I let you guys try to get Brandon on the ropes, you just ruin it every time.
I know what you say. That's my belief. That's my belief. You know why? Because the Hebrew Israelites, they were a slave class since the beginning of time. Since the beginning of time, and we are still in bondage. We are still in bondage.
Every time. I think that's what Brandon is trying to say. FBA, ADOS is they're not even close to being on the same page. Not even
we
close.
are
Hebrew. So look. So listen. So he gonna go in court. This is what I'm trying to show you, Dynast. And I want you to remember everybody on this panel who agrees with this, right? The people who think they smart, right? Who talk about people don't know politics. Listen, bro. FBA is just Tariq's Nasheed's version of Mean Girls. Oh, whoever
yes,
he doesn't like. Hold on, brother.
The ideal of us,
brother, calm down. Brother, you have a chance. Calm down. Let me speak. Listen, FBA is Tariq Nasheed's version. Hold on, brother. Calm down. Tariq, whoever Tariq like, or whoever he don't like, that's FBA. I hear Tariq talking about people are not FBA because they got messed up hairlines. He talk about people ain't FBA because they got a kid that's mixed with Asian or white or whatever. Tariq Nasheed determines who and who is not FBA. So when you say this is my lineage,
That's a joke, dude.
Listen,
The hairline thing is a joke.
Marcus, let me tell you something. Marcus, let me tell you something, brother. You want to reduce your political identity to a joke? Because that's what the person who invented it is doing. He's reducing it to a joke. Listen, bro. Look, Marcus, you're a joke. Because in Tariq's eyes, you're a joke. Let me tell you this. When Tariq said that the brother wasn't FBA who attacked Dave Chappelle because he was half Asian, half of these FBAs are swirlers. They got white wives, they got Asian wives, white husbands, everything else. They race mix all the time. So if Tariq
it's not half, dude. I have the statistics. It's not half. Stop.
Brother, hold on. Bro,
Stop.
if I make up something, how can you then come and tell me what the definition of it is? Tariq invented FBA. Therefore, he sets the criteria for FBA. Now, if you want to say what
he identified FBA.
It's
an identification.
Brother.
It's an identification. He
Family.
identified a group.
Family. He made the name.
Why don't you listen to what the man said? It's an identification. It's only identification. I'm not here to defend Tariq or Yvette
So
Cornell.
what is African
I will tell you
American?
this much, that I am a descendant of slaves. Now, however you want to entitle it, it's irrelevant. It all comes down to leverage and money. We need money as a people.
You're not going to get neither one of them. Sure, talk about executive order.
You are on the pro attack and making everyone else seem like they don't know what they're talking about.
Surely.
Like and who?
Civil rights is
Brandon, let me educate you, Brandon.
Civil-
learn to humble yourself.
you can't
Brandon, learn
educate
to
me.
sit back and realize that Black people in this country are hurting. They need money. And government is
Black
empowering
people are
other
crazy.
cultures of people versus us. And all we're trying to say, Brandon, if you listen, Brandon, if you sit down and put your coat on, you will realize that the other people are leveraging against us, and we need to have a sense of identity.
And if you realize,
and also putting people in office who believe in what
if
we
you stop talking for 5
No, I'm not
minutes,
going to stop talking.
hold on.
You've been
If you
talking
stop talking
for
for
the last
5
10
minutes,
minutes.
listen. If you stop
Brandon,
talking
let me
for
hear
5
Brandon. Hold on, Brandon. Let me hear Shirley. Let her finish, Brandon.
Wait, bro. Shirley talk longer than anybody.
Brandon, you hold on, Brandon. Hold on. You and Kala, y'all and two
At least when we talk,
three
stuff gets revealed.
Y'all long-winded. Let me hear what Shirley got to say.
When we talk, stuff gets revealed.
Let me hear what Shirley got
Shirley
to say.
keep talking about slavery.
Oh man, goddamn. Go, Brandon. Let me hear what Shirley got to say. Go ahead, Shirley.
I'm not talking about slavery. I've been doing
No,
this
go ahead, Shirley.
since 1997. I've served with probably 10 to 12 different congressional senators and assemblymen, city council, mayors. I've been in the community, people. If you Google my name, you will see my videos. This brand new just got born. And when he was born, I was already on these streets, okay? I wasn't on no social media trying to build my name and who I am as a person. So before you talk about who I am and what I'm about, you might want to Google my name.
You got no championship,
Second, Brandon, if I'm going to Dynast, can I finish my thought? Thank you, Dynast.
Go ahead. Shirley, you got a minute and 30 seconds. Go ahead.
We as a people need money. We need to, I agree, there is a difference between African Americans and African Americans who are descendants of slaves. For us to sit back and argue over, well, Tariq said this and Yvette said that, they don't rule our lives. Our DNA rules our lives. Our historical grandparents and great-grandparents and what we've gone through, not only through slavery, but the Jim Crow laws, what happened in Tulsa, what happened in the Black historical colleges, what's happening now, where we see Kamala want to be Black Harris, have taken our heritage and given it to illegal immigrants in the forms of money. When we talk about the historical Black banks, that now they're using those terms for immigrants. We're not conscious of how they're using us. They're using civil rights against us. So instead of us continuing to throw stones, men and Black women, Black men against women against Black men, we as a people need to say, here's the platform. And I agree with Dynast. What Dynast said earlier was true. What money is ADOS or FBA or any title that you want to have? What money is really being set aside to lobby? It's a game. Dynast gets it. It's a chessboard. You need to understand that you need a lobbyist. You need to understand that you need legislators who are going to put pieces of legislation and bills in place to protect and identify who we are. What's going on across the country, like in Ohio right now, where there are foreclosures because the moratoriums are being released and big corporate Americans are buying these properties and Black people are being put on the street. These are issues that we need to engulf. And then if we talk about Pan-African, I know the African heritage and the blood that's in my bloodline, and I respect that. But at least all I say, respect the people who are descendants of slaves. Forget the idea, how you want to term yourself. Forget Tariq. Forget Yvette Cornell. Know who you are as a person, and that's what really matters. And how government plays a game against you and make it work it for you.
Dynast, let me ask you a question.
Can I just say something? No. I think let me just say something. I think what you are doing is a recipe for failure. That is just simply the truth. If you think you can stand on your own in isolation there and expect to influence this pan-Europeanist agenda, you are mistaken. And it has never worked before, and it will never work. Just thinking that separating yourself from Africans is going to do you any good is a recipe for leading your people down the wrong path. The so-called Japanese you are talking about, they are not separating themselves from the Japanese in their countries, neither did the Chinese. When you keep trying to think you can stand on your own, that is a big error. And history has proven that to be a big mistake. You have to start seeing the Continentals as allies instead of problems.
Sir, we've been on our own. We've been on our own.
Yeah, but where did that get you? Stop acting as if, stop passing failure as a venereal disease to the next generation. You need to stop it. You have to grow up and man up and know how this truly works.
Hey, Dynast, let me ask you a question. Dynast, can I ask you a question?
Weakness over and over to the next generation, over and over again.
Hold on. Go ahead, Brandon.
I want to ask everybody on this panel and in the audience a question. Dynast, let's pretend we are all dogs, right? No, let's pretend we're slaves. Let's go to where these dudes like to take it. Let's pretend we slaves, Dynast. We didn't try to break away or get away, right? So Massa like, all y'all gonna get a whooping, right? I'm gonna whoop all y'all ass. So we go out there and we get tied up and we get beat. We get pissed off as hell. We want to get some get back. We tired of Massa beating us up. Dynast, are we gonna go attack Massa? Or are we gonna go attack the whip that Massa used to whoop our ass with?
Well, okay.
It's a straight up question.
Oh, we're gonna attack Massa, but right now FBA ADOS is attacking the whip.
Listen, what does attacking the whip do for you?
Absolutely nothing, because you're just buying.
Read the comments, and you'll find out who's off code. You'll find out who's off code. Read the comments on this section. You'll see a lot of off code immigrants Also, you see a lot of people against reparations. If you're against reparations, you're off code.
I'm not against
Read the
reparations.
comments, and
Brother,
then it
listen.
lets you know why we stand where we stand.
Greater
And I
Ethiopia.
believe that we can't do it alone. And you guys have one more chance. Hey, you guys have one more chance, because we will cut you guys off, and we will see who needs who the most. We will see who needs. We will see if you need us the most, or if we need you the most, and we'll play the song game.
Wait, let me make my point. Can I finish my point?
When we were dying in the streets in the 1960s,
oh, here we go.
We were getting
here we
hosed.
go.
We were getting
You didn't die in the
hosed.
streets. You right
Where
here.
were y'all? Where were y'all? Where
were
were
you?
the Africans?
Where were
We
you?
are dying in Africa too. Have you missed the memo? We are also dying in Africa right now as we speak. So stop acting as if it's not affecting all of us.
No. Let me hold on. Let me interject. But Marcus, this is the problem. This is the problem, Marcus. You're absolutely right. We were dying in the streets, but the result of that, what we demanded, was integration. So that's the issue. So we died in the streets just to say, hey, we want to integrate into whiteness. So that's where the whole separation, like now, but now you want to separate. I think that's kind of where the problem is.
Dynast, where was baby Jesus? The dude who they put, we Hebrew Israelites, we this and that. Where was the God they worshiping? He wasn't there, but they still. Dynast, this is the thing. These people love white folks. They say they, right? So like when Shirley talks, she talks about how they, meaning white people, are using Africans against us. But she never
I'm
wants
going to
to
stop you, Brandon, because I do not appreciate thinking when Shirley talks, I say this. I never say anything that you say. I not say white people. I don't say.
Okay, so you're going to disrupt me.
This.
Okay,
Well,
so
I would ask that you respectfully be careful with your
Shirley
words.
says they, but she never goes.
You don't know what my they is. Do you know what they is?
People who are using
because you live in white America. I don't know where you live, Brandon.
If this is
I'm
the
sure
case,
you take your money and you pay white electric bill, you pay white gas bill, you pay
and you don't hear me complaining
a
about
white
white
mortgage or
people.
white rent, and that's
You
the
don't hear
white
me
people
complaining
that
about
pick it
white
up.
people.
And if it ain't white, it's probably Asian because they've been infused with money from white America.
Dynast,
So,
do you ever hear me say
you like
they?
to use that word and say,
They
well, Shirley
use
said
this
this, but Shirley
person.
didn't say that, Brandon. You twist words of people. You need to stop. You need to
Attack
grow
the-
up and you need to do
Shirley,
your homework on
attack
people.
the dog,
because
not
you have
the
no
bone.
relationship to politics.
Attack the dog,
You
not
didn't work
the
with the
bone.
Trump campaign. You didn't work with the Republican Party. You came on the scene
Shirley,
when
you
you weren't
didn't
even
get
able to
nothing
vote.
done.
You probably wasn't old enough to vote.
I'm gonna write
So
a
the
book
rest of
about
us are out
a
here on
wasted life.
these streets trying to make it different for our people. I want
Okay,
to say
what did you
something
get done?
to Naiji, if I can,
Shirley,
Dynast.
Shirley,
And
you
I don't
keep
want.
always,
I want to say something
you
to
keep
the two
referencing your
Nigerians.
resume.
If I can
You
say,
keep,
Dynast.
Hold on, Brad.
she interrupted me.
Well, you
Oh,
constantly
man,
keep talking. We done heard enough of you. You
Y'all
gave
give me a
the
headache.
dog
Dynast,
sex story.
she
You
interrupted
gave
me.
the other little story, and then you want
She ain't gonna
everybody to
interrupt
agree
the
with you.
white people up at
There's
that
some people
political
gonna agree
office,
with
though.
you, and people gonna agree with me. But I'm not gonna sit here while you
But
sit
you're
there and think that you're
interrupting
gonna
me.
speak for me. What Shirley is
You're
saying? No,
interrupting
that's
me.
not what Shirley is saying. Shirley has
You
said
don't
what she
interrupt
said.
the white man
Black
when
people
you're in
need
this
money, and they're
political
hurting in
building.
this country. I want to say
Dynast,
this though. I never
Dynast,
said that
you
we did
think
not want
Shirley
to
interrupt the
allies
white
or
man
work with
when
other
you're in this
African
political
people. I said
building?
we as the people
I
need
don't
to
know, Brandy,
identify who
but
we are
sure.
individually. That's what I said. I never said that we did not want to work with Africans. I'm saying just let us at least have a sense of identity, doggone it, as
We have
who
a
we
sense
are
of
as a people.
identity.
And for some reason, people get angry with that because it ties to money. As long as you say you are attached to descendants of slaves, you get money. Why? Because you're able to ride on the
That
civil
is
rights. You're able to ride on the
ridiculous.
king.
You're lying. Shirley, you're
That
lying.
is such
You
a
guys are
ridiculous
You
statement.
allow us to identify who we are as
You
a
guys
people.
are
We
xenophobic.
already know who you are. Everybody in the world knows who African Americans are. They know who Jamaicans are. Stop pretending as if that is what you are trying to put forward.
Sir,
You are trying to just divide.
Sir, you just
See,
had somebody
let
on
me
here
say
who
something there.
said
Let me say something
West
here.
Africa versus the
In
other
the
part of
40
Africa didn't even
something,
know
see, let me tell
who
you
they
something. What
were.
you people represent is that in the 40 something, Africans were divided by the oceans. Now you are dividing us using this ideology that you are coming up with, coming across say we are it. No, we already know who you are. Stop pretending as if we don't know who you are. You know who you are.
I didn't
Stop
say we didn't know him.
You're
We
using
wanted
that
to
as a
identify
vehicle to
and
divide.
acknowledge. that we are an entity of our own as
Shirley,
descendants
are
of
you
slaves.
married to a
That's
white
all
So
we're
man?
saying.
what?
For some reason,
That
you get
doesn't matter.
angry.
Did you
Why are
see
you
Dinah's
angry?
just read
Why are you angry that I want
Dinah's read
I
that
want to
stuff
say
that the
that I'm
guy
a
wrote?
descendant of
See,
American
the guy that
slavery?
killed 10
Why
African
do I
Americans
want to talk
yesterday
about South
wrote a
Carolina and
document.
Virginia and the
Dinah's read it
Geechee
today.
people?
Did
And
he
the Geechee
distinguish?
people right
No,
now whose lands
Dinah's.
are being taken
Did
away
he? Did
by
the guy
white people who
distinguish
are
between
taking
African
graveyards,
Americans and
taking the
Africans?
graves and making them in their
white man?
backyards. Why are we talking about the historical ramifications of America? Sir,
Why
if
we
you're
not
not
talking
from
about the
America,
white
you have to
man?
understand that America has different
She's
aspects
just using
of
it to
cultures of
divide.
America when it comes to descendants of slaves. I'm
These
not
people are more
saying
angry with black people than the guy that just shut up this in the 10 African Americans. That guy basically said the reason why he wants to kill this in the black people is because as long as they are coming into his country, any black person, including African Americans, are targets. Did you hear him distinguish between both? He didn't care. He killed any black person.
Hold on. He said all black people in America are fair game for the most
Exactly.
part.
He didn't distinguish between African American or the African the one that just arrived yesterday. He didn't care because they know what the agenda is. It's pan-European agenda, and you are there talking pan-African American agenda. If you do that, it's a recipe for failure, and you are sending your people down the wrong path.
Tunaj, I have a question for you. Earlier, you said that you don't believe that Black Americans will get, FBA, whatever you want to call us, will get our reparations. And that's a fair point. You say that, even I think the same thing, because it's a white man's government. They might not give us anything. But do you at least agree that we are owed reparations?
Yes, of course. And they may give you something if you acquire power for once. The way you acquire power is not the path Shirley is trying to put people towards. Because the way you acquire power is to build ties with the continent. That is the power base of African Americans. Right now, you are behind enemy lines, and this lady is advocating that you just tie yourself in that enemy lines without getting supplies.
No, that's
Any
not what I
military
said. I
tactician
totally
knows that.
disagree. I agree with I agree
You are
that we
saying
need
that.
to
You are saying that in a roundabout
way. I said, sir, I disagree with you. I agree with you. We need to work together, but you need to identify the tribe. If you want to call the word tribe, you should at least identify the tribe who are descendants of slaves. I do believe that we should work with Africa. Dynast has been talking about me going to Africa. So I disagree on what you're saying, because I believe we should work as a united front, but at least identify of culture of people, of who we are, what we bring to the table, and our history of what we
are. You married to a white man or not?
Why do you keep acting as if African Americans don't know who they are? They know who they are. African Americans know who they are. You are using it as a way of making it look like you don't know who you are.
Great Ethiopia, let me ask you this. I'm asking Great Ethiopia. Great Ethiopia said once he identified that he was a descendant of slaves, or he had a terminology or ideology to connect with, he felt there was a home for him. There are a lot of people who don't know there is a home for them. They don't even know their grandmother or their great-grandmother's name or birthday. They don't even know.
Shirley, the audience want to know.
There's a lot of people still trying to identify.
Hey, Brandon, we're not.
Brandon, who we are as a people.
No, I want to know.
But I do agree with you that
she's not, Brandon. She's not. She's not, Brandon. She's not. All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Shirley.
excuse me. You know what, Miss Shirley, I cannot hear you because of the screaming. Can we all talk at one at a time, please? Because
no, Shirley cuts people off, and Dynast lets it happen.
Nobody's talking about
Brandon. Come on, man.
To Nigeria, and you keep on talking about white people and the white name. I'm not talking to you,
Brandon. Okay, Shirley, ask your question again, please.
Okay, I was saying to Nigeria that we as an entity want to be identified as our own entity. Yep. And I agree with him. He's saying that I don't want to work with Africans or I'm against Africa. That is
you
not
don't.
true.
You're a xenophobe.
Let me answer a question.
Brandon, no one's talking to you. Keep your little mouth shut and stay in that corner. Nobody's talking to you. Okay. So when we talk about having a relationship with Africa, I agree with you. I brought your name in Greater Ethiopia because here you have to Nigeria saying that most of us already black people know who they are. And I'm trying to educate the brother. Most people don't. Most people don't even know their grandparents' names or their great-grandparents' names. I admire the Africans who understand the tribe.
Man, that is a lie. Stop lying.
Okay. Let me answer her question now.
Ethiopia, can you enlighten that subject?
Yes. What I do is to Niger, he's trying to say that because of the racism that we are all experiencing, we are all the same. I get that, but our point is our lineage and slavery, how it connects to slavery. That's the main chord that brings us to the point of reparations. Talking about this whole topic is because of slavery. After slavery, Jim Crow. After Jim Crow, housing, redlining. The things that the foundation of American government, how it became rich based off the blood of our ancestors. That's why we are owed reparations, not because of racism in itself, but because of slavery. That's the core.
Dynasty,
I want you to get reparations,
as far as us,
but the
go ahead.
path
Go ahead.
to get it, you have to be careful who you follow on the path to get that reparation. If somebody is leading on a path of weakness, you are not going to get it. It's that simple. You have to know that this person is leading on a path that reinforces your strengths, not your weaknesses. And that's why I said when she started coming and saying something about, oh, they come and they live in different African Americans live in different communities too. That's why your statement, you said this thing. You stated that you want to work with Africans, but in reality, some of the statements you also stated just in this session, you said that you were trying to delineate yourself from Africans because you somehow have some kind of resentment towards them. So
I never used the word resentment, sir. I never
you said they come and they live in their own communities. They come and do this one, and we have to separate.
They come into the community in Los Angeles. You come to California, there's a little
that is
Ethiopia,
what people
there's a little Saigon. There's these
African Americans are also separate
too. They don't want to commune with us because they have their own identity.
Can I ask a question?
Tunaja, one question. That I know living in the state of California. Go ahead, Marcus.
Can I ask a question?
One question though. Tunaja.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Tunaja, if this you talk about separation, right? So you're talking about us being separate, and you know, when African immigrants come to this country, the thing is that like African Americans have been Pan-African. We have been the primary proponents of Pan-Africanism.
Now you're gonna teach us about Pan-Africanism.
No. Let me finish.
On Pan-Africanism. Ain't that the way it always goes?
During the last century, during the last century, African Americans have supported Pan-Africanism in Africa. We've supported Marcus Garvey. We supported all of these Pan-African movements. We've supported Ghana in their
Who's we? You're not a Pan-African.
So, stop.
You're not.
Brandon, stop. Let me finish my thoughts.
That's like me saying I'm supporting Hitler, but I'm not
talking about African Americans as a group.
No, you're FBA. African American is something different from that. You're FBA.
No. Stop it.
Brandon, you need to stop. Brandon, you're messy.
They said they're not
Brandon, you're being messy.
FBA.
Brandon, chill out. Go ahead, Marcus. Go ahead.
FBA, or African Americans, whatever you want to call us, right? In the 1980s, we were African Americans. Today, we're FBA. Tomorrow, we might be called something else. My point is this group of descendants of slaves in America, we have been supporters of Pan-Africanism, but that has not been reciprocated back to us. When we say, okay, can we get land in Africa? Africans laugh at that idea.
Now he want to live in Africa.
No.
I'm saying, listen, Marcus T, I kind of laugh at that idea too. Like, I mean, land.
Dynasty.
Right. What I'm saying is this.
5 minutes ago, this man said he a Hebrew Israelite, right or wrong?
First of all,
I'm not a
Hebrew Israelite. Can I hear the man's thought all the way through? Brandon, can we hear the man's thought? You like to pivot away from the main conversation, Brandon.
First of all,
please let this man finish his thought. Can that man finish his thought? Can you be a man and let this man shine?
I'm not a Hebrew Israelite. I'm not a part of that whole line of thought. Okay,
that's what the other FBA just said.
I do not subscribe to that belief system.
But
I understand. Look, I understand that my ancestors come from Africa. That's not my
brother. Are you FBA? Brother, are you FBA?
I am FBA. Yes.
The other FBA just said y'all are from the tribe of Jacob. That's what he said. So
look, he does not speak for all of us, all right?
This is the funny part, though. You think one person speaks for everybody. I don't even speak for everybody. Okay? So if you want to, can I say something?
In the
Understand
name of the Most High God of the Bible,
Brandon,
they don't even, they're not even together.
Brandon, stop interrupting people. Stop it.
Y'all interrupted me first.
I know, but you're cracking jokes, and people are very serious. They want to know.
I'm not cracking jokes.
Yes, you are. You're pivoting
Sir,
to cracking
you
jokes.
have
That
no army.
doesn't add value to what this
Diamond,
conversation is about.
Diamond,
Okay,
Diamond.
so
Brandon, you're like a child.
Go ahead, Marcus.
Diamond. They
You're
think
like a
they're.
child.
Brad, I get your point. Let Marcus finish. Go ahead, Marcus.
Can I be next? Can I at least be next?
You can
No,
be next.
you always
Marcus.
next.
Okay, here we go. Brandon, I will allow you to be next if you just be quiet the whole time while Marcus talks. So, all right, you can be next. All right, go ahead, Marcus.
Okay. Our support historically of Pan-Africanism has not been reciprocated by Africans. And that's part of the problem. And so
Marcus,
we're like,
Marcus, can I interject real quick?
Go ahead.
All right, so far, I've taken close to 30 African Americans to get their citizenship in Sierra Leone.
Okay, so that's a very
They not
specific
FBA.
thing. Wait. That's a very specific.
Oh my God! How they not FBA, Marv Grader?
They ain't FBA, man. I've been wanting to say that for a long time, man. But hey, because they off code like hell, man. They way in hell, y'all FBA, man.
All right,
okay,
so
just don't be this off code.
Dynast, let me answer. Let me answer what.
Hold
you
on,
said.
let me talk. Hold on, let me talk.
I need some paper.
This is the problem. So I be trying to keep Brandon on a leash, right? Like, Brandon, calm down, be quiet, shut up, Brandon, calm down. But the more y'all talk, I say this all the time, the more you guys talk, the more you be proving Brandon right. How are they not FBA, Brandon? By the definition of FBA, how are they not FBA?
Because you like the same way you can be a white supremacist and you don't have to be white. You can be a black white supremacist, right? You can be off code much.
No.
Okay.
No.
Because
okay.
Brandon, Francis, this guy Brandon. Brandon, are your parents, is your lineage descendants of slaves in America?
No, my family came from Cameroon.
Gotcha.
What
I can tell because you.
Oh, then shut this nigga down. Get him off the show. Get this nigga off the show. Wrapped up in a sweater and it's 100 degrees outside. What the fuck? Nigga, you ain't even real. What the hell? Who are you, nigga? Brandon, who are you? Who are you impersonating? You a wannabe. You wanna be a nigga. You wanna be a California nigga. You wanna be an American nigga. Nigga, you ain't even real. What the fuck is that shit? What the fuck, man? Your people didn't even suffer like my people. Now you act like a woman, like a little bitch online. Now we know what the real deal is.
Yeah, exactly. Now it all makes sense now. It all makes sense.
Who hates descendants of slaves? Somebody educate me on this nigga who's.
That's why you say we're not getting reparations. That's why you say we're not getting reparations.
That's why he don't need no reparations. He can
I go now?
The white kid, he's a plant.
It's my turn.
That's what Brandon is. Oh my God, I didn't know.
Let me go.
Hold on, Shirley.
Oh my God. I'm from Peru. I can go to womb. Then nigga be who you are. Oh my God, what the fuck, nigga? You ain't even real, dog. Can you cook grits? Can you fry some bologna? Black people know how to fry bologna.
Brandon, do you know what gumbo is?
Are you frying bananas?
I only know
bananas. Have you had a piece of spam lately, nigga? That's what nigga food is. Nigga food. You wasn't eating no nigga food. You was eating your rice and your coconuts and your beans. So don't say you like understanding us, please.
Can I go now, Dynast? You said I could go next.
Go off the channel and go squash your coconut balls because you don't know what you're talking about.
Dynast, you said I could go next.
Have you had bologna? Brandon, do you know what fried bologna is? When
no, I only know.
Fry it and it puff up and you turn it over. Have you had your mayonnaise sandwich, nigga? That's a real nigga when you can have you a mayonnaise sandwich, nigga. That's a descendant of slave sandwich, nigga. Have you had some grits with some sugar in it that you don't like, nigga?
You already know.
The peanut butter by itself. The peanut butter by itself. Hey, Dynast.
You talking about peanut butter? Niggas can't afford no peanut butter. We got
peanut butter.
This is my point. Hey, my point exactly.
This peanut butter had a white label on it. It said
this is my
Dynast.
I Dinus. Oh, go ahead. Come on, brother. Come on, let's hear you talk. Let's hear you talk for the people. You talk for the American people. You think you know a black American. I want you to eat your rice and beans with coconut and tell us your story. Go ahead.
All right, so yeah, no. Go ahead.
It's my turn. It's my turn. Dinus, no interruptions, right?
Right.
I'm turning my mic off. Go ahead. Go off.
Okay, listen. This is what I'm trying to show you, bro. Dinus, you think these people are respectable. These people only respect whiteness. You think Shirley gonna get up in the House of Congress for the Congress of California and talk like that to a white man? No, but this is how you know they're xenophobes. I'm more FBA than Shirley or Greater Ethiopia or Marcus T. But as soon as they thought I was Cameroonian, they resorted to xenophobic attacks.
No, I did not. I did not do that. That was Shirley.
Bro,
first of all,
you're not
I knew you was
interrupting.
How did I know? How did I know? Listen up. How did I know that? How did I know that your people was not FBA? Because you would never sit up here. You would not talk bad.
I gotta interject. Hold on. Stop the show. Stop the show. Guys, you fell for the trap. Brandon is a FBA ADOS Negro roots from California.
No, he's not.
No, Brandon is a clown.
Hey,
Dinus, he's your friend. Brandon is a clown. That's why he don't know. Brandon, have you had Sam? Brandon, I want to ask you a question. Do you know what baloney
Let
is?
him talk now. They say they're not going to interrupt him, so let him talk.
Listen, kinfolk, listen. I know about the fried bologna. I know about the spam and egg. I know about all that. Listen, bro, collard greens with the succotash, with the tomatoes and the cornbread, eat it with your finger. Bro, I'm blacker than you, Shirley, by far. The thing I'm telling you is, soon as you guys... Soon as they thought I was Cameroonian, it turned into xenophobic attacks. And then they say, I'm not xenophobic. Listen.
Greater Ethiopian made a point and you blew up. Radio Ethiopia called you out. And now you don't like to be called out. Go ahead. Greater Ethiopia called you out, bro. 10 more seconds. 30 more seconds. Go ahead. Eat your rice.
Now listen, this is all I want to tell you. These people talk about politics. All I would have to do is screen record all those xenophobic attacks Shirley made when she thought I was Cameroonian.
Nobody's xenophobic anything.
And there's nobody
I have a consistency
that would work with her on
I have consistency in what I said, but see, you don't follow me.
You said I could
know
talk
me,
and then you
and you want to
interrupted
say
me.
like I just said something new.
You said I could talk and then you interrupted me.
So I'm going to constantly
You
make it
can't
clear
even
who
do
I
the
am.
basics.
So
You
you're
don't
not
even got the
gonna say- you
basics there.
As soon as I came on this panel, you started attacking me.
Listen,
So
see,
all you
but
can
that-
tell us, listen, nobody
that-
wants to listen to you anymore.
that-
You've had Marcus disagree
This
with
is all we
you.
got,
Greater
Dinus.
Ethiopian agree
Dinus.
with you, and Dinus your cheerleader. Dinus can shoot
Dinus.
you all you want.
She
I'm gonna tell
attacking
you now,
you.
it's too hot for
That's
you to be wearing
wow.
this sweater right now.
This all they got. This all they got. They like a dog. It's like a pit bull on the loose, but don't nobody know who the owner is. That's FBA,
Ma'am.
dude. They attack people.
No,
They
no,
go
I was
in,
respectful
they
to you, Brandon.
Right,
I just asked you were you FBA or not. That's it. I never said he wasn't xenophobic.
Ethiopian. He's not.
Walk it back,
I know
Shirley.
he's not, but I just asked.
You don't
I
know
was
about the
hired a private
baloney.
detective.
Brandon
I
is
went
not
out for a private
serious.
detective.
Brandon is
Look
not
at that
serious.
guy.
Brandon
don't
is
know
not
about that.
serious. He's not serious.
No, he's
Bro,
not.
guys,
I'm gonna hire FBI, man. Look at Brandon's background, man.
Greater Ethiopia. Brandon is FBA ADOS.
Okay, you can
Well, I'll find that out. I'll find that out.
You won't believe that.
We'll find it out, brother.
Brandon,
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Brandon don't get you don't get the black card over here.
He is.
You don't
That's
get the black
totally
card over
fine.
here.
Listen,
No, he's not.
FBA,
No, he's
but-
not. You got 3 people on your panel saying that you're not. You outnumbered, you outvoted, you are done.
3 people.
Wow.
I got 3 people saying I am, and 3 people I'm saying I'm not. Do you know simple math?
No. Nobody wants to agree with you, Brandon. You want
There's
to let
3
the other
people.
people who have the viewpoints of ADOS, who have the true passion for it, speak.
Hey, Tori.
Oh, come on. See,
Yeah,
see,
Brandon.
your strategy is a strategy of failure. So you have to tweak
Wait,
it so that you can succeed. Because what you are saying there, you might be getting a following right now.
Tonight, so hold on. Tori,
Yeah.
am I FBA or not?
I think so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Listen.
So if you FBA, then why are you totally against everything we're going for, man?
Right.
I'm not totally against it. I'm against you guys what you guys are talking about is not gonna help FBA. Shirley is caught up in slavery and civil rights. You caught up on emotion.
The roots
and
of our history.
Listen, Shirley, let me just say my
Let
point,
me
and
ask
I'll
you a
let you
question.
talk.
You know, we're
Shirley,
trying to
I won't say
identify if you're
another word.
FBA. Brandon, can
Shirley,
you, no, seriously, Brandon,
Shirley,
do you know
let
how to
me get
fry
my point
spam?
out.
Have you opened a can of spam? Do you know how to twist that knob and take that fat off? Are you familiar with camonology, spammonology? Opening up the can of spam is different than a regular can, my brother. Did your mother raise you? Do you understand Kool-Aid? Are you familiar with Hawaiian
No, I
Punch
never drank
or
Kool-Aid.
your syrup on your pancakes? Now I'm going way back.
I
See,
put
that's
syrup on
what
the
old
eggs
black
too.
people, and that's
I
what
mean, I
black
put
people do
syrup on the
on
eggs
the
too.
floor.
I've been
You don't
saying,
come from that. You got
Diamond,
all them different extra spices going
Diamond,
on. We didn't have no
if you
spice.
really black, you put
We had
syrup on
checks
the eggs too. But
and
Shirley would know
government
that
butter,
because that's what
government
she's
butter, and
Indian.
government cheese. Are you familiar with the government butter movement?
Okay, hold on, Shirley. I got him.
Go ahead.
Brandon, what state did your family do slavery in? My family did slavery in Georgia. What state did your family?
Mississippi.
Mississippi.
And Arkansas.
I'm Tennessee.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
Arkansas
I'm more
wasn't a slave
FBA than all
state.
you guys.
Arkansas wasn't a slave state.
Bro, what are you
And the
talking
slave
about?
states of Virginia,
Listen, all right,
South
Arkansas
Carolina,
wasn't a slave state. Okay.
states that butt up to that water. See, you don't
Listen,
know about the real water, bro.
listen.
No, you listen, baby boy. We done
In
figured you out
slavery,
now. We done figured
in
you out.
slavery,
Go and talk. Talk for the
in
white man.
slavery, you could
Talk
bring
for the
your
white man.
slaves over wherever you went. And then my grandfather was a sharecropper in Arkansas, got
Okay.
into it with a white man,
Oh,
ended
got it
up
with the
moving
white man.
down to
The white
Texas and
man
was
you
a
don't like.
sharecropper.
The white man you pay your bills to.
I didn't say I didn't like the white man. That's you.
Oh no, you
They
got to say
go
white.
that.
You said you don't like white people.
No, you said white
You
people
said the
are
they is
using
the white,
African
and then you went all
tradition.
into this white antics. Look, brother, you don't represent
Shirley, if your strategy was going to work, I believe everybody would be supporting you.
Shirley is ghetto.
It's just down. It's going to fail. That's the problem. Because what if it was going to work? Obviously, why wouldn't I support it? Everybody would support it. But we know full well, you can see clearly it wouldn't work. That is not how power is transferred or wealth is transferred. There was a lot of money that was paid out to just for this COVID-19 stuff. Where did it go? It disappeared. You keep asking for money, you're asking for the wrong thing. You need to focus on straightening yourselves first before you start worrying about money.
Teenager, I respect your ideology and where your viewpoint is. When it comes to money and how this country is ran, being a descendant of slaves, but being an American citizen, how this money is ran is by government allocating funds to different cultures of people. Very clearly. Look at Afghanistan, very clear. Ukrainians that got over $13 billion when we've got homeless black people in this country. When we have black people who are losing their jobs, black people are becoming homeless because of the moratoriums. And that means the moratoriums mean there's a lifting of the banks being told.
But you just missed the point that I said just now. During COVID-19,
no, I didn't miss the point.
Black America got at least almost 500 billion, if I'm not mistaken, because they spent trillions on it. Black Americans got a lot of money even during COVID-19, the last 2 years alone. Where is all that money?
That same money went to white people.
That is my point, because you're missing what truly works.
No, that same money went to white people. That same money went to Asians. That same money went to Africans. If you look up,
that is how it's always going to be. Even if they pay you 1 trillion today, they will still give themselves even more money. They can print it.
I agree.
You are missing the point.
We need to identify who we as a people, because that did not go to all the descendants of slaves. That went to everybody.
It's not going to matter. Money is nothing. You have to acquire power. And the only way you can acquire power, money is nothing. You have to acquire power. The only way you can acquire power is through working with these so-called Africans that you like to think that they are not an ally to you. They are, because Europeans see themselves as one.
I never said that they're not an ally to us. I said that we need to at least identify who we are as the entity to work with you. But for some reason, you guys get angry with people who are ADOS.
I don't understand that. We already know. You already know who you are. That is the scariest thing.
And I'm trying to educate you. Being an African and being a woman of America, Black woman of America, I'm going to let you know that most people don't feel that way. They don't know who they are. They don't.
Tunaja, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, Tunaja.
Yeah.
Why isn't the AU reaching out to African Americans to integrate them or create some sort of program that gives citizenship to African
Marcus, spell African Union.
African Union has already declared that the whole entire diaspora is the 6th region, which
Dude,
includes
hold
African
on.
Americans.
I can answer that. I mean, Sierra Leone's already doing it, and y'all just said that the 30 Black Americans who I took, FBA, ADOS, who I took to get their citizenship, that they ain't.
That's one dynast. That's one country, and you have to have it. And you have to have
If you had what the Australian president said, that is what I consider even more powerful. What he said, and the same kind of language you are hearing from the Ghanaian president. African Union itself has acknowledged the diaspora. The thing, what is missing there to me? They are not physically making it happen.
What is an acknowledgement? What does that mean? Is that tangible?
No. It's tangible. Actually, it's a clear indication that it's a 6th region. That's what they define.
But what does that mean? What do we get from that?
You see, my point is that is on paper. In terms of migration,
hold on. Tunaj, if I can interject, hold on, Tunaj. So I forgot her name. The former ambassador, ADOS, the former African Union ambassador to the U.S. I forgot her name. Cherikana. I forgot her name. Dr. Ericana.
Yeah.
She was here. She spoke. She came. This is probably back in 2017 or 2016. She came here to Atlanta and spoke at Clark Atlanta University. Team FBA, ADOS, nowhere to be found.
She just came to Long Beach, Dynasty, this year.
She spoke. Okay, she came to Atlanta and she spoke. First of all, she's been fired. She's no longer the leader of.
But what I'm saying, while she was there, it isn't like you guys were trying to engage her anyway. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Because we were busy fighting for reparations. So
Donald Samir, if they were trying to reach out to us, then why none of us ever heard of it? The 6th district thing, like
that is the question you should be asking yourself.
I heard of it. We would have heard of it. I heard of it, but it's not directed towards so-called FBA.
Great Ethiopia, you're very dishonest. You just said you didn't hear of it. You just said you didn't hear of it, and now you're like, I heard of it, but you guys lie so much. I mean, like, no one can trust you.
Why was it directed towards us specifically?
But why did you lie? Why did you lie?
Diaspora can be anything. Diaspora can mean anything. Diaspora means anything. It can be anything or anybody.
Let me ask you a question. You asked me a question. Let me ask you a question. Why did you lie and say that you never heard of it?
Okay, why did you lie and pretend like it was directed towards FBA when you know it's directed towards Black immigrants?
It doesn't have to be directed towards FBA. Do you want it to be directed to your address too? Where does it end? When they address the diaspora, they are saying that it's the 6th region. You can't pretend as if it's not being addressed to you.
My wife is diaspora.
Greater Ethiopia.
What tangible thing has that created for
Greater Ethiopia? Is FBA part of the diaspora? Is FBA part of the diaspora? That's all I'm asking. Is FBA part of the diaspora?
I would say no, because we're not immigrants.
Okay, so then there you go. You removed yourself from being included in it. That's it. That's why I keep telling you, FBA does not represent Black Americans. These dudes are making up their own rules. We don't fall under those rules. We're not trying to disqualify ourselves. Y'all want to do that. Y'all following a cult leader and letting him.
How can we be diaspora if we're not immigrants, man? You talking about diaspora from 500 years ago?
You just said FBA is not diaspora. You just said we're not Black people who immigrated, who transferred to Africa.
Slavery is not immigration, man. Nobody, my ancestors did not volunteer to get on the slave ship, man.
Damn, you just said we Hebrew Israelites.
Say, hey, man, let me get on that slave ship. Which continent y'all going to?
Family, you just said, and neither did the ancestors of Jamaicans or any of those people. So what are you talking about? You guys don't have any valid point.
The 6th region, that just sounds like a just a bunch of word
We're
salad.
not talking about what it sounds like, fool.
It
We
sounds
talking
like
about what
it
it
sounds
is.
like it sounds like word
Come on,
salad.
come on.
It's word
They need a
salad.
catchy name.
Right now, you might be correct to say maybe it sounds like a word salad because it's not been activated fully. However, the African Union had a meeting with this in the CARICOM last year, and they intend to be having it regularly. Remember, when they talk about, sorry, let me just finish. When they talk about the African American community, remember it's within a nation, so it's not that easy to just come in and say, "Oh, let's go and have a meeting with Africa, the US." So that's what makes it complicated a little bit, I think.
When you talk to these people, you can't reason with them on logic. So when you say stuff like, you might be right, it does sound, you're giving them a whole nother bullshit excuse to use. You don't know how to argue politically, Tunija, because these people, they don't care about you. They're not listening to nothing you're saying. All they're doing is throwing out dumb points to keep them, to let them stay in a state of stupidity and ignorance, right? So you keep on saying, well, you could be right. Now you just put another wall in front of the point we're making. The point is not to get these people to understand. The point is to totally destroy these people's argument and dismiss them. Shirley, we thought she was classy. Turns out she's trashy. She's a xenophobe.
Hello, Brandon. What the problem is you eating greens with your fingers?
That she worked with all these white folks.
I think we should be honest in our conversation because, see, I don't care about winning arguments. I think we should be honest in our conversation with what we know. That's why, in a way, you have your point is you might have your point that okay, maybe I should be fighting like that, but you have to be honest so that both sides can reach common ground. That's how things work.
No, there's no common ground.
You're right.
I've had encounters with people where I've had encounters with people where I have total disagreement with some other person, and then when we discuss, we come up with even a better arrangement. If you're not honest, you're not going to get anywhere.
Listen, what you don't understand is they have no
on your own, and you sit back and want to attack
Listen,
personal
they
level.
have no
That's
respect for black people.
You're not a professional person. You're a
I'm
child
telling you
still
that right
learning
now.
your way through life.
Shirley,
You're a child still learning.
you're
Brandon, a man who eats greens with his fingers. Let me educate you.
Let's rewind the tape.
Listen to what tonight she's trying to educate you. You want classy and slassy?
Right,
is that
the way professional people talk? Well, we heard
yes,
10
that's
minutes ago.
professional people talking to you right now. That you need to be open to hear what Tunaiji's trying to explain to you instead of talking over the brother. He's providing you information.
Well, hold on, guys.
everyone has
We
a
got
point
two
of
other
view.
callers. Then we got two other callers on. Then we're gonna close out. Freeway Dread, unmute yourself. Freeway Dread, unmute yourself.
What's going on, Dallas?
How are you? Go ahead.
I'm good. I was popping in and some stuff I agree with, some stuff I don't. I'm hearing Tariq Nasheed name too much. I'm hearing Yvette Carnell name too much. I hear both. I hear good arguments on both sides to a degree. But to answer the question, is the diaspora part of? I mean, is the FBA part of the diaspora? I would say yeah. Is it like Haiti is? No, it's not. But to be, none of us own or run FBA per se, but a lot of us are spokesmen, and everybody don't really shout the same things. Same with African immigrants. Everybody don't shout the same thing. My point, what I had wanted to come in and chime on was, yeah, we got some politicians who are FBA, don't represent us, and we make sure. And I say we because I'm part of the grassroots. I consider myself part of the grassroots. So,
Freeway Dread. With that being said, who's more of a threat to itself? Is it FBA or immigrants? You just made a point that I made earlier. You have a lot of FBA politicians: Maxine Waters, Jim Clyburn,
Clarence Thomas,
clowns. So
yeah, clowns. Agreed.
So how I'm trying to figure out, should we focus on the issues in-house first? Because that seems like we're deflecting from that, and we're saying this immigrant group, these people over here. I mean, I think the problem is internal. Like, we need to clean house internal first before we start pointing fingers outside. Am I right or wrong?
I agree with you. One of the things I always say, we need to do yard and house cleaning, and I definitely agree. We get on these. When I say we get on, I'm talking about as spokesmen in the case of public opinion or a case of public court, like the way we speak against clowns and people who not for. I'm talking about people. I'm talking about FBA who are of our same stock, but they do not advocate for us, and they do they tow the water, they carry the water of the dominant society, white speaking points. I'm not with them. A lot of us who are quote unquote FBA, and I'll be the first one to say, my father is Jamaican, my mother is FBA. A lot of times I don't ride the fence with it. It's like this: when you inside of America, you got to get down with how they get down in America. If we was to go over in any country in Africa, we have to get down with how they get down. Dynast, I heard you say they told you stay away from politics, and stay away from tribalism. Well, one thing that I do notice when I see the Caribbean people come over and I see African people come over, they don't mind getting into the politics, which is a no-no, especially if you're not doing the bidding, or you're not at least advocating somewhat, at least to a degree, somewhat for the foundation of Black Americans, the ones who did the work to help you get here. Now, I'm not making it to where FBA have no fault. They do have fault, but it's like this: when you over here, you have to get down when you go to Nigeria and Sierra Leone, you take the advice of people who give you advice. Whereas some Africans, when they come here, and Caribbean people, when they come here to America, they do not take the advice, and they don't come in to lock arms like me. Like I told you, my father is Jamaican, so I got Jamaican family, and a lot of them, when they come to this country to get them. They're not coming to help even the family that they left behind. They come for their own pockets and for themselves only, which is cool if that's what you want to do. But when you see communities of people trying to close ranks or making an attempt to close ranks, you can't then say, oh no, we all the same. Oh no, we all the same. No, keep it the same as you came to get you. Fine, but let that be known. Don't come to get you, and then when people close ranks, now you want to say we all the same, we all the same. Now, to the African brothers who are on the panel, because I've been listening for a while, but to the African brothers on the panel, if you are quote unquote Pan-African, that's cool, that's fine. Link with the FBA people who are on the same wavelength, but we can't act like we do have a lot in common. A lot of us do have a lot in common, but it's like me going to Africa and trying to link with a coon, and it's like freedom fighters coming to America trying to link with coons. It don't happen. You got to find who you on the same wavelength with. And like I said earlier, Tariq, you don't got to keep on saying that man's name, because he don't run FBA, to be honest. And now I'm speaking to Pan-African Strike Back. He not FBA. He don't run FBA or anything like that. All he did was just identify, but at the same time, he don't tell nobody like me what's going on. I got my own mind and I got my own everything to figure out how I want to move. But what I'm gonna say is, you find who you can lock arms with. But I do know for a fact, a lot of people who come to America, they don't come to lock arms. They come to get them, which is cool. But let that be known. Don't try to jump back on the other side of the rock and act like, okay, we all together, we all together. No, it's not like that. It's not. Just be truthful. Now, if you're gonna be truthful, just be truthful. I'm gonna fall back for right now. I don't want to do too much talking.
Okay, let's see. Let's get Tori. Go ahead, Tori. Then you pass
Can I just ask you, man? That guy.
No, dude, we got other people tonight.
I know. But I just wanted.
Let's hear it. Go ahead, Tori. Finish. Go ahead, Tori.
No, go ahead, Tinash. Go ahead.
All right, good.
Yeah. I just wanted to say, man, that guy, my God, if I saw him in Africa, I would think like, how did he make it 400 years looking like that? He looks so African. That's the freeway dread. My
True.
God, he's so African. And I see, you have to understand there is confusion going on sometimes. There are some Africans that don't care about all these things we talk about. Same on the other side. So when you see that happens, and then the ones that care meet the ones that don't care, you get this confusion. It happens on the continent too. So we have to remember, we have to always keep that in mind when we have this type of conversation. So sorry about that, Bolton. You can go ahead.
Yeah, Amir, I agree with you. I don't think that, what's his name, Tariq Nasheed, I don't think that he's an FBA member. I don't think he's foundational Black American. That's what you said, right?
Who?
You said Tariq Nasheed, he's not foundational Black American.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that at all.
Oh.
It was Brandon.
Oh.
Brandon is
he's talking to me. He's talking to me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Okay, all right.
Toy
All
Birch.
right. Go ahead, Lozy. Go ahead, Lozy.
Okay,
Toy Birch.
Dennis.
How old are you, by the way?
My first time on your panel. I'll greet everyone on the panel. But hey, look, I'm just gonna be quick. I'm here to tell my American brothers and sisters of the slave descendants that look, guys, you guys have to fight for your people, your own group first, and protect them by all cost. I understand where you guys come from, and I can see what's going on. But most of the problem is, the biggest problem is, this is done by your government at the government level. The problem is you guys don't own that country, even though you played part in building it. You are part of minority. If I was running that country, I will do everything that you guys want because you guys deserve the most, and you haven't been getting the most. So I will say that with African immigrants that are coming there, I've been looking at this problem for a while now. And online, most people who come for Black Americans are Africans, and they the ones who started this for most. What I see now, Black Americans are retaliating. There's no Black nation that I've seen that put Black people at the front more than Black Americans in my entire life. The Africans that come there, just like any immigrants, they come there for themselves. They don't give a fuck about you guys. And the moment you guys start to realize that you will get it. They come in there for their stomach. We failed to run this continent. There's no way. These people are here for themselves. We are one of the most tribalistic continent. We are tribal. When they come there, they're gonna use these tactics to rise to the political influence. And the government of America wants that as well. So you guys need to be on code for your people and protect your people by all costs. Don't allow them to blackmail you with words like you are xenophobic or what. It's survival of the fittest. If you guys don't get this right and allow people to divide you, it's going to be chaos. So what you need to understand is that you are a Black American first. That's your nation. And then secondly, you are Black. Then we can unite all at that level, but your people first. Don't make a mistake. So yeah, I'm gonna go out.
Oh my God, where have you been?
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Nobody disagrees with what he's
Oh my
saying.
God, thank you
But what you have to remember, these are the same people that support attacking Nigerians in their country. You have to be careful. These are the same type of people that want to divide and rule. You have to watch that guy. They support attacking Nigerians in their country and dividing the continent. There are people that bought into the same illusion of inclusion in South Africa. So you have to be careful when you listen to Lozy. So the point he made a good point from the point of view that, let me finish my point. You made a good point when you said Black Americans should care for themselves. Yes, you should care for yourself. Why shouldn't you care for your communities? They have a community there in America. That's why I said you already have your identity. What I am saying is that when you want to strategize in terms of the threat assessment and how you are going to gain power, you have to tap back to the continent. This is what all of them do. Even the white Americans, they're not thinking about America. They don't think of that black land like they are going to die there or anything. They are using it to protect their country in Europe. When they have NATO, is it by coincidence that only NATO countries are mostly European countries? It's not by coincidence. They do that deliberately to protect their own people. And we have to know that too on our own level. And when we want to say, okay, we want to protect ourselves first, protect yourself without being divisive. There is no reason why you cannot do that. That's all.
Hey, let me say something, man. I love my African. Believe it to the bottom of my soul, my heart, man. I'm telling you, I'm not just saying this to say this. I love Africa, man. I've been living here for 7 years, man. Tears will come out my eyes when I start talking about how much I love Africa, man. Some of my best friends are Ugandans, Kenyans, Ethiopians. I have friends from all over Africa, and I would like to say, as an FBA, and I'm speaking for all FBAs right now, man. We love you guys, man. We just wish that you guys gave us the same in return, because if you just look at these comments right now, these are the kind of people that we're talking about. Some of these people are just straight coons who can't be saved, man. And the same mentality that they have on a social level, they take it to a political level or economic level. The same mentality they have, they take it wherever they go. And it's something about those immigrants in America, because the African brothers who live on the continent are completely different than the ones who live in America, man. It's like night and day. It's not the same people, man.
Can I just speak, guys? So sorry, Dynasty, I'm gonna go soon because I'm South African. I don't really care much because we on this panel, I know most Black Americans don't usually meet with us. So I'm gonna say this. If you look at Europe, you go to Europe, the British, the Irish, the French, the Spanish, They group themselves first, and that's how they build their empires. I'm saying we are all black. We are definitely all Africans, but we come with our own nations. I'm a South African first, and beyond that, I'm black. Black Americans today, they stand as a nation, and this is the strongest black nation on earth. It's too sad that they don't own a country of their own, but this is the richest nation that we all look up to as black people. And I've seen so many black people talking shit about black Americans. For me, black Americans, even online, they're one of the most welcoming people. Even on this panel, you can hear they've been cursing black Americans. They've been shouting on them, and most of them are just handling it because they're just taking it in. They're just taking it in. We need to reflect as people. We have failed on the continent. That's a fact. These people who are running to America, they're running there because they've allowed the colonizers to continue messing up our continent. If this continent was standing, we wouldn't be fighting for leftovers there in America as people. And we are not giving dignity to black Americans because our continent is not on order. And we are busy here fighting to fit in America and fight for leftovers there while we can fix our continent. Why are we running to America? To allow the government of America to use our black skins to speak for black Americans there. We have got no business in their business there. They stood there for 400 years and fought and died for that land. We didn't help them. We were here and we were getting fucked as well here. When we continue to get fucked, we are more than 1.2 billion on this continent. We must have shame. And people like you too, Niger, who are here trying, you are in Britain, you followed your master there, and you're busy talking shit about me, saying I'm dividing people. I'm saying we must be responsible. And if we can build this continent, we will restore dignity that black Americans deserve there. The government is not respecting them because the continent of their origin is also getting fucked by them. That's why they don't respect them. And you guys are allowed to go there and allow the same government to use you against them. This is not fair.
I think I agree with you on that, other than the insult you gave to me. But
Yeah,
one thing I have to say, I have to second what he said. I've had conversations with Africans, and this, and I can tell you that what he said about African Americans being quite receptive to Africans and conversations like this. When I spoke to Africans recently, you can't believe how vicious it can be. And when you guys see Africans, you think they are just benign. They are vicious to each other like crazy. And I tell them, you know what? I've been to African American channels where you think African Americans are the harshest people. You guys are worse. And that's why I will second what he has said. I have to give it to you guys. And sooner or later, we have to realize that we all share the same things here. And when I heard about the attack yesterday, it hits me. And because it's happening to us too. It's just one of those things. And, I have to say,
listen, we're gonna close out. It's almost 4 hours. I'm bringing Fitzgerald on later on this evening. So, but everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family. Dynasty Mirror, search for Huru. Peace.
Brian Keller on too.
Justice for Deborah.